Who would say that?
The Music Man.
No, that was me.
Oh.
All right,
I
let's.
say
Now I'm hearing.
Yep.
Now our voices are going live over the internet.
Right. So everyone needs to be quiet for a second, so I can do some sort of intro for this mud show. Greetings and welcome to the inaugural first beta of the CoCoTECH Show, where we will be hopefully showing you wonderful aspects in the technical side of things for the Tandy color computer and its hardware cousins. Today we are just doing a beta stream, nothing really super planned. I know that Curtis is doing something with Nitrous 9 Ease of Use Edition. I don't know.
Amongst other things.
Because I don't know that software stuff. And I will actually be doing a composite mod from jcm-1.com on a CoCo 1. So.
And I'm going to look pretty.
Ken is going to be here. He's going to be the beautiful face, the supermodel of CoCoTECH.
Ken's our centerfold for the day.
Yes.
I am the Vanna White of the show.
And
I'll ask dumb questions.
We have Ron that's going to ask questions.
Dumb questions.
hey, I'm just going to say questions because I'm not going to.
First.
I don't want to put a pressure on you, Ron. So, and then we're also joined by the Music Man, Brian Shoebring.
Hello, everyone. I'm just here kind of working.
So if anybody's got any music questions.
Yes. And then.
Yeah, I should mention a little bit of background here. So, and Ron, did you want to ask your question first before I get into the background of the show?
No.
Okay. So basically the background is we've been kind of banding about this, doing a tech version of the show for a while, because sometimes we get into the tech details of something on the main show, and we're in the weeds for like an hour, 2 hours. Go ahead, Ken.
Should we show our faces? Because people are asking who's talking.
All right, I guess
we're not
so.
streaming?
Yes, we are streaming.
No.
We're not showing our faces.
Jeez.
No.
Yeah,
I was
well,
sitting here looking at Zoom. I wasn't looking at the stream to see that. Yeah, you're right.
There.
Yeah, well,
you
what-
guys asked for it. Now you can see us.
Yeah.
well, the idea was
Reap what you sowed now,
Yeah.
boys.
the idea was I was going to do the intro with the title card, and then you started talking and getting into the show, and I didn't change it. And hey, this is a beta version. I don't want to hear it.
We'll have theme music and stuff later on for the actual intro, so you guys will know. But
Yeah.
this is just basically to work out some of the kinks, the bugs. Also, the show format, because back to what I was starting with. Basically, the show's been bandied around for a while, but doing a technical deep dive show, because if we do that on the main show, the shows get to be longer and longer and longer. And we've had a few people complain about that getting too much, especially if it's something they're not interested in. And we've also had others saying, I would like you to do more detail on something. So, of course, you can't satisfy either of those on the same show, so we're going to branch off with a separate show where we can do long, this open-ended as to how long it takes, talking about tech topics, software, hardware, whatever. Mark Overholzer was kind of in charge of getting that done. I got Ron Delvaux to do our logo, the CoCoTECH logo, so the one you saw on the screen there, that's from Ron. And unfortunately, he's been rather busy this last month, a lot of stuff in his personal life, and we wanted to get something out for Septandy. So hopefully you guys will find some Tandy tags if you're watching this after the fact. But basically, the format of the show is going to be pretty loose. We're experimenting with something today. We're actually going to have a couple things happening at once. I don't know if that's going to work long term. May get too confusing. We're going to have Slippy doing the hardware. I'm going to be doing some software stuff, just to try to bring in more people to check it out. And we won't try not to talk over each other. We'll try to take kind of turns back and forth as things are happening. But we definitely want contributions from the audience. So people on the panel that have joined, people that are in the chat, if you guys have any questions about any hardware, software topics, doesn't have to be what we're technically talking about right now. We're going to be able to try to wing it somewhat.
Curtis,
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't think your microphone's working properly because people are saying you sound like you're 100 miles away.
Oh, you sound good too, though.
Yeah. Or maybe that's just Slippy's fault.
Yeah, well, Slippy usually has that echoey thing on the game show too. I've mentioned that numerous times.
You should be
Ben
getting
Reichert
on.
even complimented me. He said, no Curtis sound, much better.
Let's see here. System sound. I see what the problem
Okay, there we
is.
go.
Alright. That should be good. One of you talk.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome
We
to
sound
CoCo.
cleaner.
Welcome to CoCoTECH. Welcome to CoCoTECH.
Does that sound better?
Does
I'm
that
getting echo.
sound better?
Nick.
How's that sound?
Echo, echo.
It still sounds like everybody's distant from when I'm playing on Twitch here.
I'll be instructing everyone tonight on doing some soldering. And, whoops, forgot the solder. Whoops, forgot the soldering gun. Whoops, forgot the shield for the head. Whoops, something to protect your hair from burning.
So Ken Reichert, you're saying I sound like I'm on a $10 Best Buy microphone. Does everybody else on the panel sound the way besides Sloopy? He usually comes in pretty clear, but no, on Zoom I do, but not on.
But I think it's the going through the
It's everybody else hearing us on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube that is hearing it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What
like
the-
Zoom is coming through the microphone on this back bench. And it almost sounds like we're in the CoCo Fest.
Yeah.
What?
Multiple echoes and
What?
come by and see my CoCo over here.
I think Sloopy. If they have to do an ear or something, then
I have headphones. I
can't hear it all.
I have hearing issues. So.
Can't hear you.
He's shut his microphone off, I think.
Hello?
Crackle!
Oh, there's a heck of a buzz.
And nothing coming through on the stream, I don't think. Oh no. Faintly. Very faint.
Only one speaker and a hum coming through.
Can you hear me now?
Would there be a 60 cycle hum?
Hello?
Welcome to CoCoTECH Fail.
Does a 50 cycle hum sound different?
Alright.
Mark, are you free tonight? We might have to get you to host it so the audio's not crap.
Yeah, since I finished eating. Sure. I did put together a scene. It's just
What,
screen and a CoCoTECH logo.
why
Yeah,
is
because
audio not
Ken's right.
working?
I'm getting a very faint, echoey thing in my left ear only at this point.
System sound, okay.
As Ken said, you can barely hear you, and it's 2006 YouTube quality. That's pretty accurate.
Alright, that's Realtek high definition audio. Speakers are Realtek.
Well, speakers is one problem because you always get echo in those around.
You can actually hear me?
Yeah.
Faintly, very faintly.
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Odd.
Check your jacks on the computer. It sounds like you got one jack a little bit loose. But there's a ground loop.
That's not going to be easy to grab.
Yeah, that's just what it sounds like to me.
Well, you see, the thing is, I usually use a Blue Yeti microphone. And Mark said, no, you have to do this, which actually uses the microphone connected to the back of the computer.
Yeah, but you have the
No, you have
the
to do
central
this,
problem.
which actually uses the Is Curtis breaking up for other
Fell
people?
off the internet.
Damn thing.
Why?
Yes.
Why is it not sending the audio from Zoom to the OBS? Why is it not sending the audio from Zoom to OBS?
What's your Zoom setting? You have your Zoom setting to send it to OBS?
So I would use, do you have a microphone array? Realtek high definition audio SST?
I have Realtek high definition audio, and that's selected in Zoom. And select speaker is Realtek high definition audio. And what do I put in the sources in OBS?
Desktop audio is all I use. I mean, yeah, there is a mic set up there, but I never use it because that is for the microphone I plug in, which I never plug in.
Okay.
But otherwise, it picks it up through system sound.
All right. So system sound, I should be selected what? The microphone high definition audio or something else?
Let me look at the properties though. I just have the default.
Is there something I'm missing to bring that up?
I don't know. You're kind of getting outside of expertise here.
What audio, do you have any audio filters put in?
I'm sorry. Any audio what?
Audio filters?
Not intentionally.
Okay. Let's see.
Where would I see those? Okay, let me look in filters. No, there are no filters.
Okay. Let's see here. Alright, can anyone try talking?
Oh, okay.
I keep crunching on my vegetables.
I'm talking now. I
Back
just
in-
got myself a nice fresh cup of coffee.
Back in the early 2000s, they used to have these. I don't know
that
if you
sounds
can
much
see it or
better.
not, but
No,
That-
because you're
Curtis,
hiding
I don't
behind
think
the
we're
chat.
getting any Curtis.
There's a buzz in the background.
this is an old USB hub, and then now we got new one.
Like a ground loop or something.
There's a buzz in the background.
That's my text.
And an echo, I think.
It's my tech thing for today. So I'm the first one to give a tech advice on the show today.
Okay, we're getting a couple reports that the audio levels now for us is good,
Yep.
Just the humming.
but there's still that ground loop buzz
We're
thing.
getting a couple reports that the audio levels now
Right.
for us is good.
Yeah, I see
And
what
then-
the issue is with OBS. I was doing a system sound thing, and it needs to be set. It's not a sound input; it's an audio capture. So
It is.
Oh, system sounds a capture? Oh, okay. I don't know how you tell that other than knowing what the symbol meant.
Yeah. Sounds like the ground, the loopy ground thing is gone.
Yep. Yeah, you're a little bit faint though.
That's fine. We don't need to hear you, Sloopy.
The rest of us sound pretty good.
and I probably sound better.
And there's an echo still.
How faint is the echo?
Not that much of an echo.
Well, it's like you got the show running in the background as your mic's picking
Yeah,
it up.
that's
and
what it sounds like.
Over and
Yeah.
over and over again.
It's the time delay between transmission and restream.
Well, that's because I had the audio running. I had the stream running on Missy's computer, so I could actually hear what was being transmitted.
Understood.
Yeah, echo should be gone because I turned off the audio on hers. So, and you should be able to hear me.
Okay, I'll try talking, see if I hear an echo. Nope, echo's gone now.
So I think we just need to get Sloopy's volume up.
Yep, Sloopy's volume is the only thing now that's about half the rest of us.
But that's okay. We can hear you.
Low. Just learn sign language and don't need to worry about it.
How do I sound now?
Same.
Same.
Let's see.
Maybe
You can toss in a couple filters.
on Windows mixer volume.
Yes, Ken Reichert, but do you really want to be able to hear Sloopy?
Can you hear me better now?
A little.
We can hear you a bit better.
How do I sound now?
A little bit higher.
Volume
All the way-
level's a
all the
bit
way
better,
up.
but it still sounds like it's going from a distance or something. Is that the right way to
Like
describe
you
it?
missed- I'll call the bass is missing.
And how do I sound now?
About the same.
Same.
Interesting.
Mark suggested maybe try to get closer to the mic and see if that makes a difference. I can't see how close you are to it.
From here to here.
Well, you can try leaning just over and we'll see, but I don't think that's it.
Hello?
I wonder if it's just being too directional.
Oh yeah, the setting on the Yeti Blue, like how the
Yeah.
mic picks up with that switch in the back.
Yeah, I'm actually speaking right into the direction that it's supposed to be.
Okay, that doesn't really change anything.
Yeah.
Curtis has L echo.
How do I
Curtis
sound
has
now?
L echo.
Do I sound louder now?
Yeah.
Distorted, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's distorted, but it's
All right.
loud.
I will have to work out the details on this later. Let's continue on with the show.
Hey,
See, this
stop,
is
right
what
there.
happens when other people get to play with Mark B's toys.
Now, am I still echoing for people? Echo or no echo?
I don't know. I'm listening.
I don't hear an echo.
Yeah, I don't hear it either, even on Twitch.
There's like a 1 minute delay for Twitch.
Fairly Amused is saying yes, there's still echo. Fairly Amused is on YouTube, so I don't know if that's a difference.
There doesn't seem to be an echo on
Twitch?
and now it's gone. On Twitch, I don't hear anything, so I'm switching over to YouTube. Gone, echo, gone. Okay, so shall we start a
Anyway,
show?
we didn't change anything, did we?
Yes, I did.
Whoa. Where'd you go?
I think he probably turned everything down a bit.
Yeah.
Who, me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yep.
What, am I very faint?
Yep.
You're loud on the stream, though.
Oh, is he? I've
Yeah.
got the stream turned on here.
You're
Interesting.
faint to us, but loud on the stream.
It's probably because on the stream it's reading through my Blue Yeti, but into Zoom it's reading through this microphone. You probably hear me louder now on the Zoom now.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah, that's because the microphone is very directional and very small, and it's a cheap piece of hardware.
They're saying that Ken and me are still echoing, and I just heard Ken echo you too.
That's
I think
because-
it's got to be your microphone that you're using there, Sloopy.
yeah, it's the Blue
Oh, okay. So I guess just turn it back on whenever you're going to speak and. Okay. So nobody else can speak when Sloopy's speaking because they'll echo. Well, so
Yeah, they
far
just said
people
Mark,
have
Mark
actually
echoed too. So
people have actually
did.
stuck with us through all of this. So hey, thank you.
it's that phenomenon of ambulance chases, like train wrecks.
Yeah. How hard can we crash and burn?
Oh, we're good at that. We're looking for the carnage.
Does anybody remember the book called Full Turn of the Screw?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're having here. I mean, we're like
We've got a
turns
stripped
into it.
screw.
Yeah.
We've got the wrong screwdriver. That's basically where we're at.
Right.
Or Robertson.
Yeah,
And
we're Canadian. It's a Robertson with a Phillips.
We're going to tell you the right tool for the job here.
So we for future
We are the
episodes, we
wrong
have to figure a way
tools.
to eliminate that echo, though, that happens when Sleepy has his mic on.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that's,
it
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 sounds
took
like
a
crap.
while for me to work all that stuff out on mine, but now I don't remember what the hell it did.
Yeah, things are going to be moved around. So once I move things around, I'll actually dive into it deeper. That's why I haven't made it such a high priority to get rid of the echo and such. I've only done stopgap measures to do that.
And
What's up, Ken?
we've been streaming for 30 minutes, so let's start the show.
Well, we kind
Watching
of
the
tried to
timer.
start, and then we got complaints about all the echo and volume level differences and everything else. So, all right, back to where we started there. So basically, this CoCoTECH was originally envisaged by Mark Overholzer, who got Ron to create the logo. So thank you, Ron. Thanks, Marks, for the idea. Mark's been kind of busy, so he hasn't been able to do it. We wanted to sneak one in during Septandy, just so we could become part of the whole Septandy thing, because I haven't had a chance to do much videos myself. In fact, none at all during this time. Thanks for Sloopy and Ken for being the first people insane enough to try this live, as we just demonstrated quite well, I think. This is a beta. We're just kind of doing it. So the general format of the show is that we'll probably have a topic or two. Now, it'll depend on how this goes, trying to do two things at once, or at least, hopscotching between the two here. We're going to have a software bit side with me and then the hardware side with Sloopy. We definitely want to take suggestions from people on the panel. We want to take suggestions from people in the chat. If people in the chat all kind of like conglomerate over one topic, we might just, do that. And we won't even know what it is until we get started the show. So, and there's no fixed length of the show. There's no fixed time schedule for the show. If you people are on the CoCo Discord, or if you want to contact us on the CoCo Nation page and Facebook, etc., you can send us some topic suggestions, things you want to ask questions about. I will not claim that all of us are experts on everything that we're talking about. Sometimes we'll learn stuff from you out in the audience there. So I just want to make that clear. We'll try our best type thing, but we're learning like the rest of you.
I got a tech question.
Okay.
Maybe you can help me. Okay, on one computer I have, if I turn it off and turn it back on too quick, it just says okay. And if I turn it off and wait about 6 or 8 seconds and then turn it back on, then it goes into the SDC okay. And it doesn't do that on my other computer. I think, is it true that one kind of memory actually has a little memory and you have to wait for it to clear compared to
Static
the other
versus
one?
dynamic RAM?
Yeah, is that what's going on?
It takes
Yes.
a little bit of time for it to decharge itself. So
Yeah,
if you turn it on too quickly, it just thinks it's never been turned off.
Yeah, dynamic
memory
RAMs
got
are
better
just-
over the years, unlike us.
Dynamic RAMs are just small little capacitors, and you have to wait until they discharge to be zero. If
Okay.
you don't wait until they fully discharge, the machine will still show as a warm start startup, because it doesn't know that you actually turned on the power. It just checks a memory location and says, if this memory location is this, then we do a cold start. If it's not this, then we do a warm start.
Yeah, I wondered because I would have my program that makes the pictures, and I turn it off. If I turn it on too fast with the one computer, the picture's still there partially, and some of it's eaten away. And that's because some of the memory probably cleared, but the
Now,
rest of it
is it on your static RAM based upgrades, Ron, that you're hitting that problem? Because that's where I'm getting it.
The one upgrade I got is the one where I think it's triangular shaped, and the other one is
the boomerang
one that's L shaped. Yeah,
so boomerang's L shaped. The triangle is a triad by
Triad.
Mark
Yeah,
Marlette,
the triad's the one that does it, and I don't remember it doing it so much as because when I first installed it, it was 512K, and then
aren't they both static?
Yeah, I don't know.
It would differ on the chips though. Like I know we actually were talking about this at VCF. There's actually some Commodore 64s out there that you have to leave turned off for about 30 seconds before they'll discharge. Most of them are about 3 or 4 seconds, but there's actually one brand of chips that they use that take about 30 seconds to discharge. So,
well, the other machine, you can turn it off and on immediately, and it's no problem at all. And that's got two megabytes on it. And this one has it had 512, and then it got upgraded to 1 meg because I guess it was present there. You just have to have the
if you enable the extra address line and put the data in. Yeah,
right. So I had that done. Yeah, that's when Paul Barton did for me.
Yeah, because in my case, it's my Gimme X 2 meg upgrade from Ed Snyder that if I turn the CoCo off for like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, turn it back on, I just get a extended basic prompt. There's no STC, DOS, there's no disk, there's no nothing. If I leave it off for like 5 to 10 seconds and I turn it on, then I get the full STC boot. So it's the exact same thing it sounds like you're getting.
Okay. Nothing to worry about then.
Yeah. The dynamic RAM upgrades I never had that problem. Personally, it was always the static RAM ones, but it might be a bit different between the piano shaped one that Ed does. I don't know what to call that one. The boomerang, the triad.
Those
even
are
the Disto original. Actually, no, the Disto's original was dynamic. Even the 2 meg was just Sims instead.
Wouldn't it be better instead of a power off, power back on, just to bring up the Mugateers and then reset?
Yeah, if you have a CoCo 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I try to do too.
Less stress on the system, I think.
But I know Nick Morentis has said that sometimes, like if the program locks up so bad, it's reset the reset vector and stuff that it can't even find the basic CoCo 3 ROM. He's done that a few times through his programming. He does have bugs, folks. He's at it, so he's had to power cycle it off 15 seconds. And in his case, particularly, I should mention this because he actually just told me about this last night. He's got the triad, and he's also got that protector thingy that's built into it.
Right, that's what I got.
And when he disabled that, he doesn't have that problem anymore. So maybe that's part of it.
Are you being sponsored by Sport?
Disabled what?
The protector, that CPU protecting thing that Mark put in.
It goes underneath
which
the CPU.
version of the triad memory?
Does Nick have? I have no idea.
Because if it's one of the older ones, an earlier version, there was a change that Mark had done to take care of some of the issues there, and also static electricity issues. Because with some machines, it would create just enough of an imbalance that made it unstable. And then his latest version took care of that with some extra capacitors, I think, and a change to make it.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
because I had that problem like 4 years ago or 4 years ago, and static electricity. I mean, I would come close to it after running on the carpet, it would shut off.
Oh,
and
is that with having the case on and everything?
Yeah.
Oh,
because I had it setting on a metal table. I touched the table after walking up to it and go blink. So I think that was like about 5 years ago or so. And then he did a small revision with some of the parts. I had a roll around metal computer desk with the keyboard that come out and all that. Wrong thing to do on carpet. Yeah, even with that, but it was just enough of static electricity built up on. Yeah.
So it
Act as capacitors. Oh yeah, I'm fully aware of what you're talking about.
so what you do is you attach a chain to it that drags on the ground. That's what they did at the Seagate plant on their rolly carts.
That's what they used to do on a lot of the old cop cars and all that, with the big old radios in the trunk. They would actually have grounding straps so that they can have good signals.
Well, they also did that because of the vinyl seat covers.
Yeah. Also, the CBers did that too.
Yeah.
Off topic.
So, no, this is CoCoTECH. Anything technical is on topic. Yeah. You just gave us a technical explanation as to why these boards are doing this weird thing where if you shut it off and on too fast, it doesn't actually properly reset itself.
Yeah.
To get, like, say, like Ron said, the SDC DOS and SDC Explorer don't launch. That's the exact same problem I've had if I only shut it off for 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
But sometimes you lock the machine up so much that, control at reset doesn't even seem to work. So.
Oh, and well, I guess while we're talking about it, that protector you put underneath the CPU, how exactly does that work in saving your CPU from getting boinked by, electrical energy out there? I mean, somehow there's what do they have hooked up to it?
It puts a layer between the CPU and the outside world.
Okay.
Yeah, buffers in and out.
So essentially the protector will sacrifice itself to keep the surge from getting to the CPU.
Oh, so
kind of like a fuse does, right?
So
Is that one of the ones that got affected by the chip shortage? Except retro. Okay. So anyway, people in the chat, you don't have to do it right now, but if you want, you can throw some suggestions of topics in there for us, or you can send them to us on the Discord or on the CoCo Nation page of Facebook, or what is our email address? I don't remember.
There is a new CoCo Discord channel for this show. So find it.
And which subcategory is that under, just so people know where to find it?
Just go down 275 channels and we're
That's about right.
Here, let me go delete a few so you can find it faster.
Hey, it's 248. Thank you very much. Not
but it's under the CoCo Nation is the main group of channels, and then
banner for the group. Yeah.
It's under the let me just see here. Yeah, the CoCo Nation show group.
Also, if any of the viewers are actually experts in the field in a particular piece of hardware or software themselves, and they want to suggest a topic and then come on and talk about it to help us that don't know it ourselves here, feel free to make that suggestion as well.
Now, here's a suggestion I have. Sometime it would be cool if you guys could show us how to put a power light on CoCo. I have one power light on a multi-pack that I got from somebody else at one time, and it already had it on there. And that's kind of nice when sometimes you might be distracted and have the computer on and leave, and it's nice to come back and know it's already on. You can turn it off. But that would be a neat addition. Years ago on a CoCo 1 I had, it had a on light like that and a switch at the top right corner. And the switch was to bring the reset, no, not the reset, the power button up to the front, which is, I guess, easier if you have your computer set up and you have things around it. It's tough to reach back there, and it's also easier not to do it up front and not have to move your machine accidentally. So That's
Yeah,
a
I knew a
thought.
few people that did that back in the day, but they also, the caveat was that if you have your switch up front, you could accidentally hit it, reaching for your coffee cup because it's right there, and then I just shut it off and lost on my coat.
Yeah.
So
Also, is it good to have a switch that's a clicker, or when you just touch it, it resets? You know what I mean? Or it goes on and off. Isn't there two kinds? There's a single throw, and then there's a momentary. I mean, you could have either one.
Yes, I mean there's several types of switch. There's single throw, double throw, momentary.
What's the CoCo have on its back?
It has a actually it has a multi-pole, and it's a on-off switch. What it's called is on-off. So
Okay.
it's a single throw, so to speak, even though it's not a toggle. Toggle are usually double throws.
You got to get one of those big ass toggles like the old IBMs had.
Yeah,
Plunk.
yeah, because
Under a glass door.
unfortunately, the CoCo does not switch on and off the power going into the board, I do believe. It actually, going into the transformer, it actually, I think it
switches off between the transformer and the board.
right
Yeah, it's on the secondary side.
after the transformer.
Which
So-
I've actually got a CoCo 1 where somebody put a switch in between the power cord and the transformer. So it's got a switch on the side that actually turns the transformer off.
He must have been looking for EPA Energy Star compliance.
Is that the source of hum on some that don't work well? Have you ever had that where you can hear a CoCo when it's on? The buzzing of the.
That's just the transformer.
Yeah.
Some transformers will hum.
Okay.
The plate.
yeah, and if you're young and your hearing's still good, you can hear the monitor on.
Yeah, I
too,
guess so.
Yeah.
I can't anymore.
That's actually, I was watching, I can't remember what shows I was watching the other day, and they said they're talking about how great CRTs are to use nowadays. Once you hit that age where you can't hear the hum anymore. Can't remember what shows I was watching the other day, and they said.
Sorry about that. For some
Is
reason,
Mark- Go ahead.
for some reason, my the tab that I've opened to YouTube, it just like all of a sudden went back to show will start soon.
No, I'm still streaming it here. It looks
Nope, we're
normal
still
here.
live.
Yeah,
I see it.
No, we're frozen on YouTube.
No, we're running on Twitch.
yeah, it's showing
Running
me
on
for
Twitch,
YouTube.
but froze on YouTube.
Let's see.
It
Your
ended us.
YouTube. My
Yeah, and I'm green.
my YouTube's going.
Yeah, I still see it on YouTube.
No,
It's just you.
It's just
Just
you,
me?
Ken, as usual.
Okay.
I'm just
You're-
hiding under the chat.
Oh, there we go. Yep, we're moving on YouTube.
Ken, you're not even in your cabin.
No, I'm home. I have an internet now.
Well, you think you do.
Actually, it's funny because I was actually just telling Curtis and Sloopy the other day. I got home from my cabin and they sent me a notice that for the municipality I'm in, we can now get our utility bills and such online. So I went to sign up for it, and the thing popped up and it said minimum requirements for signing up for an account is a computer running Windows 95 or 98, an Internet Explorer of Netscape 4.0, and you need a 28.8 kilobyte internet connection.
That's low enough specs. You might be able to log in with your CoCo with one of Rick's cards. You pay your bills with your CoCo. That'd be pretty
I
cool.
was just like, boy, they copy and pasted from some old website.
Well, that's probably when they actually launched it.
No, it's brand new. Like it just came out this month.
They
Like
probably,
they just went online.
Well, you know how slow the government is.
especially Canadian government.
Especially in rural areas.
Yep.
It's like they probably designed it back then and only now got to launch it.
Well, the nuke silos have those 8-inch drives in them.
NCSA Mosaic for life.
Netscape. Come on. That's the way to go.
Netscape 4.0.
We can go back further than that.
Wait, you can go back
Links.
further
I'm
than
going to
that.
run links because then I can run it on my CoCo. So
I remember all that.
Anyway, that's a bit of banter for the intro of the show. So, Slippy, you officially wanted to kind of show a hardware upgrade you're doing on a machine. Is that correct?
Well, that was kind of the plan when my arm was twisted to do something. I mean, I'd planned on doing this a while ago, and it's just I haven't been able to get around to it. But I figured if I was on a show and I was forced to do it, I wouldn't have much of a choice.
Here's your moment.
If I must.
Your moment in the sun, or at least the glow of a soldering iron.
Give me 1 second. Let's see here.
Now, everybody, don't be afraid to criticize Sloopy's soldering.
This gray panel here is hurting my arm. Where is it? It's over here. Ouch.
You're getting hit by the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will have to fix that for the next one.
Sorry, I just sit in the corner.
Man. All right, let's see here. I guess I have to go over there if I'm going to do this.
Yeah, an older CoCo one with the badge towards the left, and it still has the memory indicator.
So get rid of that badge and
Badge
put
to
in
the
an
left?
LED for the power light there.
Oh, that badge.
Yep. We don't need no stinking badges.
And I was going to do some little software bits. Now, one thing I typically just do nitrous 9 stuff most of the time, but I thought I'd do a little bit different. Because after VCF, I know some people that bought CoCos that have never had one before. So I was going to show a little bit of tricks for CoCo 1s and 2s, a little bit of tricks with CoCo 3, and then a little bit of tricks in nitrous 9. Part of the nitrous 9 stuff I'll be covering will be stuff that Ken and I talked about our seminar that has no sound on YouTube. And we've tried repeatedly to get the person that recorded it, who supposedly has a copy that has audio, and we can't get it. So I've kind of given up that video's dead.
So you're never going to see it.
Well, now you can do that webinar again next year.
Yeah, it sounds good. Yep.
Well,
unfortunately.
Well, plus you're eclipsing the view. Much.
Ooh, that's a party CoCo.
Hey, that's worse. You got your hand in front of the camera.
Yeah, you're palming us.
Yeah, no. Now we can't see anything.
I did get a scan of your fingerprints, though, so once I find your phone.
So you're going to make it so you could be in the middle. Okay.
There's your dinner right there by the...
So we take your word for it.
We may not be able to see the screen, but we can see the awesome green glow off of your face.
Is he saying things? We can't hear him?
All right, we trust you. It works.
He's going to get a mirror and put it down there.
Fluorescent light.
Okay, you've definitely got lights. Anyways, let's move on with the taking the computer apart.
It'd be better to take a picture of it and then show us.
So, Slippy, did we want to just take turns where you go like 5 minutes of you doing stuff full screen, or do we want to do a half screen split between the two of us, or how do you want to do this?
What are you going to do?
So how about you explain what you're going to do, and then you start working on it, and we'll split screen it, and Curtis can do his stuff and talk about what he's doing, and then you can just
and you can interject every once in a while to explain what you're doing too. So
yeah.
Because I'll just be screen sharing. I'm not going to have a full camera type thing. Now, is this based on the Mark data, a universal one from way back when? We're getting people saying that there's no audio for you on the stream. And they're right.
I can hear you on Zoom.
Okay, talk some more, Sloopy. You're not talking, Sloopy.
So does
You're
this
still
have
muted.
does this have sound as well as the composite?
We can
Ron, just wait
locally.
until we find out if the audience can hear Sloopy.
We can hear you locally, but you're not coming over the stream. So Sloopy has been talking about how this is from a composite upgrade from, what was it from, Sloopy? jcm-1.com, and it's actually a composite mod that works on a number of different computers, including the Atari 2600. I think you said the Spectrum, the CoCo, as well as others.
Does it work on the RF can? Is that what it does? Anyone?
Well, on the CoCo one, the RF can takes composite generated elsewhere on the board and just modulates it. Whereas the CoCo 2 has part of the video generation in the can. On CoCo 1, that's outside of the can.
Yeah, and they still can't hear you, Sloopy, on the stream. So just, you know.
Hey guys, I need to drop off.
All right. Thank
Okay,
you for
Brian.
dropping by,
Thanks for
Brian.
stopping by for the train wreck. I mean, the beta of the show.
Beta, alpha, whatever, as long as we have fun.
That's true.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of the night.
Okay. Bye.
Later, Brian.
Bye.
And I am going to run and get a cup of coffee. I will be right back.
We're gonna have dead air there because everybody who has mics here is gonna be going.
Well, you guys Ron, Curtis, have a conversation.
Yeah, you leave the non-hardware people here to talk about hardware that we're seeing on the screen. Smart move, Ken. Great.
I'm trying to dig up stuff from way in the back where people have told me, yeah, this is what you do.
All right, Sloopy's trying to say something.
Is he?
No, I don't think you're coming through on the stream, Sloopy.
No,
it's not coming.
And I'm sure you can hear me now. On the stream, at the very least.
Ah, there. Now you're coming through.
Yeah, well, that's from my Blue Yeti.
How long's the cable on your Blue Yeti? Can you bring the Yeti with you?
No, it's like a 4-foot USB.
Oh, okay. I can lend you mine, except I'm way far away.
Yeah,
mine's longer.
Yeah, my USB extension is being used for the webcam.
So they're just saying, Sloopy, get a chalkboard and write down everything that you wanted to say.
Yeah, whiteboard the whole thing.
I mean, I bought this lavalier for a reason. So.
Can you do American Sign Language?
Only one.
I think he only knows how to say one thing.
Yeah, we're
I can
number
guess
one.
what.
No, we're number one.
I know one thing.
So, because Ron and I don't know anything about hardware, Mark or Ken is going to have to narrate what Sloopy's doing.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I don't know if the
rest of the world can.
Can you yell to your Yeti?
That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Let me try.
Oh, you're coming through very quietly. We can hear you a little bit.
Barely, yeah, but you can very faintly hear you.
See, this is what happens when a retro techer tries to use brand new tech.
You don't have a USB extension anywhere?
He does, but it's in use. He's using it for the camera.
All those cabinets there with all that goodies, all those goodies and everything, there's nothing?
Hello. Can you hear me at all?
The only other option is that he's going to have to run back and forth, do something on the CoCo, then run over to his main mic, explain what he just did, then run back.
Well, how about
Or
he
vice
explains
versa.
what he's
Hold
about
on.
to do? He could explain what he's about to do.
Can
then
you-
work on it, and then you could go into your programming stuff, Curtis.
Can you hear me now?
Let me check the stream. It's very distorted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, kind of. It's a
Yes.
little echoey, but it works.
How does it sound now?
You're working.
Better.
It's working
Yeah, go
better
go
than
for it.
nothing.
Okay.
Do you have to unscrew the lid yet?
All right.
No true CoCo owner has screws in his CoCo.
Some do, some don't.
Vertical shirt pocket, and this is a horizontal clip.
Clip it to your ear.
That would hurt.
Or
It
your
would work.
collar. Up on your collar, I think.
My mom wears clip-on earrings.
All right, so everyone can hear me good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We can't hear. I'm just waiting for the chat to respond.
All right. Well, I'm talking much lower now so that you and the Blue Yeti is muted. So if you can actually hear me, you're hearing me through the lavalier.
It's quite quiet, but it's working.
Okay. Well,
So as long as nobody else talks while you're talking, people can hear you.
let me, all right. Is that better? Is that louder?
Talk again?
This is me talking. I am talking. I am still talking. People
Yeah,
would
it's a bit better.
People would wish I'd shut up. All right. This is the board.
Dark.
And-
Dark. Yeah, we can't see it.
oh. Too dark. Let's-
That's good. That's
Smaller
better.
than a postage stamp.
Yeah. So that's the board. And it uses these little parts here in it. If you'd like to see... What the... Why is my mouse not working?
Mouse the mouse.
Here, use mine.
Is it too late to rename the show CoCoTECH Fail at this point?
I can change the artwork.
By the way, Tech Todd on the chat there says that wow, that's tiny, referring to the little board you're holding up.
Yeah, it is. It's like just under a centimeter square.
I did hear you through the stream there, Sloopy, too. I just quickly turned it on to check.
Yay, mouse works.
What do you have the instructions on the computer?
Yes. Yeah, if you go to www.jcm-1.com and you look up the composite mod, you can see the instructions.
Which is what you have there.
which is what I'm looking at on the screen here. When I
Who in
move
the
everything
world looks at
around, I'll do it so that you can actually see what I'm doing on the screen, and it'll make it a lot better. But the
Who
first
in the
thing
world
we need
actually
to do,
reads instructions?
yes, I have never
Have you-
done this, so this is going to be my first time
Yep.
doing it.
That was the next question.
So the components are a 2.2K resistor, which that's not it. That's not it.
What color makes it 2.2?
Red, red.
And to the
Yeah.
colorblind people,
Gray,
Tan,
gray,
tan,
gray.
tan.
All right.
How many watts is your, your machine to?
I don't know the details on this project because it's not mine. It's
Well, what I mean is your soldering iron. How many
Oh.
watts is it?
I'm going
100
to be
watts or-
using. I didn't want to
Enough.
use my regular iron, so I'm going to be using a pine sill.
Actually, on a side note there, Slippy, did you actually find your soldering irons that were left at VCF?
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
I
good.
did. And it wasn't left at VCF. It was left in my laptop bag.
Oh, okay.
So it was
Alright,
with him
let's
all along.
so theoretically next year I could just take it home with me.
So do you have all the parts?
Yeah.
So for the folks that are watching, this upgrade here, you said was originally created for other 8-bit machines, and this should work on a CoCo 1 or a 2?
Yeah, it was originally, I think, created for an Atari 2600.
And sorry, what's the website again?
It is jcm-1.com.
JCM.
Well, a CoCo 2 would need a little more to get composite out of it.
Hey, Mark, when you were at the show earlier this year, you were fixing CoCos right next to me.
Uh-huh.
What kinds of things were you doing to that particular CoCo? Was it an upgrade like this, or it was?
I think it. Gee, what was I working on?
I think it had a hum or something. Actually, we were talking about that earlier.
Oops, sorry.
And I
Remember?
think we.
Well, I was kind of surprised that you did bench work like it was nothing, like, because you're always on the show talking, but I didn't know that you actually do the bench work.
Yeah, I do. So it, as I recall, I think it was that one the one with memory problems? I'm trying to think. It was either one of Brian Weasler's or one of the auction machines.
Oh,
I did check out some of the. I checked out the auction machines before they went, just to make sure that they were, all so we could advertise if they were functional or not.
yeah.
But the buzz. Oh yeah, the buzz. That wasn't a memory problem. That one. We suspected it was a bad filter capacitor, but we didn't have any to try out because it was allowing the AC
That's right.
ripple to leak.
Didn't you take it out completely and it was okay or something like that?
No, I don't think we got that far with it. It was more.
But
what we did was. What I did was feed. Bypass the power supply altogether and just feed 5 volts directly on the main board.
Yeah, that's right.
And powered up the rest of the computer. And so we verified the rest of the computer was working once the power supply was fixed. So we did get it narrowed down to the power supply circuit itself. So, and we suspect likely it was the big capacitor probably went bad.
Got a couple comments from the chat here. I thought I might as well mention here. So, Coco Strangiato, Bob Emery says Coco's working fine. All this modern tech can't keep up. We was talking about the issues earlier. We were trying to get the mics working and stuff. Kevin Holloway's asking, so this one directly will not work with the CoCo 2. It will need some modifications.
Yeah, it's
No,
only
it
for the
will
CoCo
not.
1. So if you want to know, I'm just on the website right now. It is for the Atari 2600, the Atari 600 XL, this Timex Sinclair 1000, Tandy Color Computer 1, and most generic NTSC RF outputs.
Like
Yeah.
most the older, late
Yeah.
70s game consoles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. So on all those machines, they're going to have like a simple modulator that just takes composite that the system already generates and just makes it RF. CoCo 1 does it that way, but the CoCo 2, the part of the circuit that converts the VDG chip into composite is inside the can, whereas CoCo 1, it's outside.
You know, actually, he has the web address going across on that little device over there.
Hey, someone noticed.
It's only one letter at a time, though. It's hard for me to read. I
it's
don't
hard
have that.
to see. Yeah.
I don't have that attention span.
Well, I mean,
Jeez.
Ron is
It's
our sign man.
WW. Oh, I'm bored now.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, Ron is our sign man.
yeah.
And in case we have audio listeners to this show here, if you watch the video version, you'll actually see the chat actually has the direct link to that project that Ken posted in.
JCM-1.com or JCM-1.com product tiny comp.
And Ken, if you want, can you post that with a tiny explanation of what it's for in that new channel we just made on the Discord, just so that people want to follow up later, they can.
Okay. That means I have to find the new channel.
And so,
So this mod will not produce a cloud of blue smoke anywhere, will it?
If I
you
did
look
it,
up,
sure
Ron,
would.
it will.
it might.
Give it to me. I'll get every color under the rainbow clouds of smoke coming out of that sucker.
Have you thought about pulling a prank and having an M80 go off while you're doing it or something? I guess not.
Well, we do that in the shop.
Well, back in my sign painting days, somebody was at the board lettering. Someone would walk by with a large 2x4 and drop it right behind us when we're concentrating, which would be
When you're trying to draw that
Probably
fine line with the pen, with the ink or the paint, right?
yeah, just about ready to touch the board and bang.
So since Slippy's kind of concentrating on getting some soldering stuff done there, should we do the split screen and I'll do some stuff until he's ready to comment again, or?
Sure. How do we do a split screen?
Well, we'd be able to help Sloopy if he'd made us co-hosts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we'd be able to do that for him.
Because I did do a screen share, but I take over the whole stream so that Sloopy doesn't show up at all, and I don't want that.
Yeah, Todd, this is makes it easier for when I'm like soldering something over here or over on the other side, as opposed to a single place. This is a
Yeah, for those that don't know what the heck Sloopy's talking about, Tech Todd in the chat said he was wondering, or he said, I love how your soldering iron is plugged in above the bench. That's clever.
Yeah, it's actually plugged in behind the TV, but it has a USB extension connected to it because it's powered by USB-C.
You don't have any young kids there, right?
Just Sloopy.
Just this
Oh,
middle-aged juvenile delinquent.
Not young, but immature, yes.
I asked that because I could see how they could take that and carve their name in the CoCo with the hot poker.
No, it's cats grabbing it and yanking it onto the floor.
Ooh.
So Sloopy, do you want to make some of us co-hosts so we can split the screen?
Well, no one asked at the beginning, so.
So,
Alright.
so the thing is, if you go share screen, it pretty much takes over the screen, but we can set both you guys off on the side, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping for.
The active word is I think.
It depends on how much co-host lets me do. Host lets me do it, so.
I have no idea. I've never tried to do anything as co-host.
Okay, so Now we add spotlight, so both you guys are on there.
There you
Yep,
go.
I
So-
see.
It worked.
Curtis, go ahead and try to share
Jason,
screen.
share screen.
Oh, you're taking the whole screen though.
Hang on, but I can resize some of this.
You want me to stop sharing or leave it up so you can figure out what you're doing?
No, I need to minimize this and then come over here and there we go. So there's more of a split screen.
Although we're showing completely black on Twitch.
Yeah, you're right. Twitch did go black. What happened?
And YouTube.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
See if it comes back.
Oh, Slippy, you broke it.
Broke the internet.
How did I
Nope,
break it?
our voices are still coming through.
Yeah, but
Curtis, just hold the monitor up in your hands there, and
I can. My camera's embedded in the monitor.
oh,
What the?
let me remove the spotlights and see what happens here. See if it comes back.
Yeah, Twitch is a bit behind, so I'll have to wait and see here.
Oh, we're still black on both screens.
people listening don't know.
They can still hear us. Like I just tested that, so that's good. Maybe.
That's weird.
I don't know if they'd agree.
Oh, we're back on Twitch.
Are we? Hasn't caught up to me yet.
And we're back on YouTube.
YouTube, yep.
Yeah, it seemed to be
there we
a
go.
problem with
Co-hosts?
Discord. I mean OBS.
Weird. Alright, let's try a couple spotlights.
Gosh, Ken, your coffee looks great. I'm gonna go get some.
It's delicious.
Yeah. I'll
Curtis,
bet.
that was great coffee. Look at that, Curtis. I'm even drinking out of a Saskatchewan Rough Riders mug just for you.
Oh, you're doing things properly then.
Would you rather a squirt?
Nope.
No, I'm
Yeah,
taking over
so-
the whole screen again.
More than the whole screen.
Yeah.
Okay, because on my view, I got you split side by side.
No,
We're
that's
just
not what's
showing
going on
the
the stream.
upper corner,
Okay,
the
so
upper quarter of
Sloopy's-
Curtis's
Sloopy's probably going to have to do it.
split screen you.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go. Now we see Curtis. Or we could just let Sloopy work away in the background there, and Curtis, you can do some stuff, and then we'll switch back to Sloopy.
Up to you guys.
I mean, he hasn't
I
even
have
got the cover
quick
off
little
yet.
jabs to do. It's not like a big, lengthy thing.
Yeah,
so.
Sloopy hasn't even got the cover off yet, so.
Yeah, well, why don't you do that while I'm soldering this up? Because
Okay.
it shows us both spotlighted still.
Yeah, because I spotted it, but the view on YouTube.
Yeah, the stream is only seeing me with a big, huge VCC screen.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at what.
Oh, I don't even
what
see
it's-
that.
I'm actually at the my PC.
But we can still see Sloopy in the top of the screen, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too bad. I would
I don't.
prefer to have it side by side, so there's...
It's a kink to work out in the future.
Yeah. It's all beta, folks. Maybe alpha.
So on the stream, all I see is the zoom across the top, and it's cut off.
Yeah, on the stream, like looking at Twitch anyway, I'm seeing like us, in small little squares of all the panelists, and then a big, huge VCC window under that, and that's it. And the chat on the right. But you're not seeing that, Mark? You're seeing something different when you watch?
Nope, that is what I'm seeing now on Twitch.
Okay. Is it the same on YouTube and Facebook, I presume?
Same on YouTube, anyway.
Okay. So how do you want to flag us so that we know to switch back to you, Sloopy?
I don't know. Can you?
You want to just scream like,
You can just say
spotlight
something.
me, or I'm more
Flashbang?
important, or what?
Well, I can just.
Me.
Considering I'm the host, I can just mute you.
And I think he's gonna have to do the switching anyway.
Yeah, no, I just want to know when, like, so I know when to pause whatever I'm talking about and let Sleepy take the screen over again.
Yeah, I mean, I can just mute you or kick you off or whatever.
No, I just want you to let me know so like if I'm finishing a thought, I can just quickly stop and at the right place instead of cutting it off in the middle of a sentence or something.
Yeah, you won't notice the difference.
The viewers will.
Yeah, they
And
might actually start paying attention.
as soon as they start saying thank you, we'll know that Curtis is cut off.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not doing Nitrous 9 yet. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to do a couple quick, tricks. And this is the first part here is definitely for the people that maybe have just acquired a CoCo at VCF or any other shows recently or eBay or whatever. So these are just some little tricks that are not mentioned in the manuals. So the first one is for those of you who know about it, there's a thing called artifact coloring, which we'll be able to see on Sleepy's board once he's done it. And this is basically the same as the Apple II's artifacting, where odd and even pixels, because of the way NTSC works, actually produces color instead of just black and white like it supposedly is supposed to be doing according to the video chip. Now you can actually do graphics and stuff in BASIC, drawing lines, etc., and actually calculate where odd and even pixels are, but that gets a bit more difficult when you try to draw stuff like circles or diagonal lines, because then you have to figure it out pixel by pixel. So there's a little bit of a trick you can do where you can kind of fool it. You fool BASIC, basically. You tell it to put it into P mode 4,1, and I'll type here, and hopefully this doesn't... Let me know if the keyboard ricocheting off my desk here is going to be too loud. But basically, you tell the CoCo to P mode 4,1, and then you do a screen 1,1 to do the artifacting. And what you do after that, though, is you tell BASIC to go back to P mode 3,1. So for those of you not familiar with the P mode command, the first number is what screen mode you want to use. That's from 0 to 4. 4 is 256 by 192, 2 color. And the comma 1 is what page number to start on. I'm not going to do any fancy, copying of pages and stuff here, so I'm just going to use page 1. And then screen 1, comma 1. The first one, it means I want the graphics screen to show, not the text. If you want text, use 0. And the comma 1 after that is the color set. So there's a color set 0 and a color set 1. Now one's white based and one's green based. So 0 is the green based and 1's the white based. Artifact colors, if you look really closely on a green, you will see very faint hints of artifacting. But if you want artifacting colors, the red, blue, white, black, generally you do want to use the white mode. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm telling the CoCo BASIC that I want to do a P mode 4 256 by 192 screen. Starting on page 1, I want graphics mode turned on, and I want color set 1, which is the one with the white and black, which is what that mode is supposed to be. But then I'm telling BASIC, actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to do P mode 3. And P mode 3 is a 128 by 192, so half the horizontal resolution, but it has 4 colors. Now, I'm not going to do a screen command after this, so BASIC is still going to be displaying a P mode 4 screen, the black and white, supposedly monochrome. But I've told BASIC to treat all the pixels as 2 bits per pixel for 4 colors. So when you do that, basically, you're telling the basic graphic routines for stuff like circles and lines and dots and stuff to use 2 bits per pixel, which is kind of doing all of our calculations for us then for doing artifacting of odd and even pixels being orange-ish red or blue. I just want to make sure I'm on Composite. Just a sec here. Yeah. So I want to make sure I wasn't RGB because otherwise it would just show up as white stripes and it would look terrible. So I'm just going to cycle. Sorry, go ahead.
If you just run like that, what'll happen? What will happen?
It'll just put a white border on a black screen with the code I've got in there right now. That's because it's just, there's nothing there yet.
Do you have notes or are you doing this from memory?
I'm doing this from memory.
Wow.
So some of this might work. Oops.
So this is the no bugs that Nick keeps talking about.
Yeah, except I don't make that extravagant claim. I will have bugs. Oops. Oops, I don't need that for 4D. Okay, I'll just rename this so I don't have a little gap there. So basically, we're doing line 10 is turning on screen on to graphics and then fooling basic into thinking it's a 4-color mode. Line 20 is doing a loop for the 4 colors, and I'm PCLSing the screen. So basically, it should clear the screen in order. It should be black, either orange or blue, depending on what state your CoCo's phase is in. On a CoCo 3, you have control over that. Yes, go ahead.
When you renumbered it, how come it gave you 2 line 20s?
That's very odd. Why did it do that? Huh.
And what kind of a crash will that cause?
I don't know. That'll be fun to watch here. Is this a
all right?
What,
Here
what
you go.
version?
What version of VCC do you have?
2.1, because it's a wine wrapped one. We'll see if it works.
Well, continue with what you were talking about.
Yeah, well,
let's see what it's.
We'll see what
do.
happens. I'm kind of curious now myself. Normally, that does not happen. Might be an emulator issue. A line 20 is basically just cycling through the 4 colors and clearing the screen of that particular color. And the red and the blue might be swapped on a real CoCo 1 or CoCo 2 if you're trying this at home. Just because of the phase, and you hit reset until the screen changes to the color you want. Or you can keep track of your program. Ask the person, is this orange? And if it is, hit 1. If it's blue, hit 2. And then you can actually just swap the colors in your color statements. I've got a little in key string here waiting for me to hit the C key, which should loop to itself and just wait until you hit C. And when you do hit C, then it goes the next C on line 30, and then it should go on to the next screen. So I should go cycle through all 4 colors. But we'll see what happens after that renumber, because I'm kind of curious now.
You confused Jim Gary.
Sorry, what?
You confused Jim Gary.
Yeah, well, that's an extra line there. I'm going to just retype it in. I don't know what the heck happened there.
I wanted you to run it first.
He did.
I did, and it just gave me an
FC
error. FC error.
Function call.
Oops. Maybe I should have prepared these ahead of time, eh?
Maybe.
No, why not? We wouldn't have had this renumbering error if you had done it ahead of time. Which is
oops.
Oh, Jim says that never happens on the MC10.
It doesn't only happen on the CoCo either. I think it's just the emulator.
That is great.
There, that's better. So I just cleared it 0. I'll hit the C key. Now I'm getting orange, and I hit again. Now I'm getting blue, and then I hit C again, and now it's white. So that is me using artifact colors. And the secret is to do the screen 1,1 after the P mode 4 to put it into P mode 4 as far as the hardware, the VDG is concerned. The P mode 3 is to fool basic into using odd and even pixels for colors 2 and 3. Black will be 0, 0 as your bit pattern. The orange and the blue will be 1, 0, and 0, 1. And white will be 1, 1. So now you've got complete control over your colors.
Excuse me, but doesn't the manual say that it's not exactly white?
I think they call it buff or something, don't they?
Right.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I learned.
Try doing a renum again and see if it screws it up again.
No. I'd be here all day if it keeps doing stupid things like that.
Did you save it?
No, I'm winging it. So.
I mean, he's got to find a cassette recorder to plug in there.
Oh, jeez.
Well, no, I've got the Diskette Basic enabled, so I mean, technically I could.
It's buff because the CoCo's been working out.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll have to remember that one.
And Jim Gary also believes that you should try the renum statement again.
Yes. Renum.
Tell you what, Jim, I have a couple more little techniques to show you first before I switch to CoCo 3 stuff. I'll try it right at the end. Okay. So next thing I wanted to show, the way that the color command works is that basically it sets a byte in BASIC's own internal RAM area that has the full byte bit pattern of the pixel. So if you wanted black, it would set this to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 as your bits. If you wanted it white, it'd be all ones. If you want blue and red, it'd be 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 or 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. And it uses that with commands like line and paint and circle and stuff to actually draw the color. Now, you can poke that manually as long as you don't run another color command, because the color command will override that with a proper value, quote unquote. But you can actually change it to be any pattern of 8 bits. And you can use this to draw stuff like line with a BF, for example, for a box fill, or you can do a paint command with it. And you can actually get some patterns that you can use, kind of like you might have seen in Color Max. It's vertically striped. It won't be able to do cross hatches and stuff, but you can get some pretty interesting effects. And since I'm doing this with the composite RGB or composite artifacting, you should be able to see some other colors. You might be able to sneak in stuff like a yellow or something like that, depending on the pattern. So basically, that's controlled by a single byte at 178 in memory. That's decimal. So if you do a poke 178 comma and then a number from 0 to 55, which is whatever bit pattern, you can actually get those commands. It does the equivalent of what a color command would do with extra effects, basically.
Could you have done this on the MC10?
No, because the MC10 by default doesn't have any of these graphics commands.
Okay.
Now, the MCX Basic that Darren Atkinson did should be able to do this, but I don't think it's the same address. I don't know where he's mapped his bit pattern for doing this, but technically, if you knew where he did it, yes, it should work. Okay. Now, one caveat. I did make a note of this. If you're trying to do a paint command, the paint command will paint a foreground color, which is what we're poking to fiddle with, and then you have it stop at a background color. Now, the thing is, if you skip specifying the foreground color, it'll just default to whatever's in memory location 178, which I'll be demonstrating. But the background color, it has to be one of the actual 4 main primary colors that normally would be used. If you have a poke 178 with an oddball thing and you try to specify background color, it's only going to find it in certain spots. So your paint's probably going to leak all over the screen. So anything you want to paint with these odd patterns, you want to draw the outline of where you're painting within with one of the base 4 colors so that it actually knows when to stop. So
your cursor looks like it's going to go to sleep. It's so slow.
Yeah, I didn't put the speed up poke for any of this yet. Okay, so I'm going to do oops, focus is on the wrong window here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a color 2, and then I'll just do a little, fairly large circle actually, centered on the screen, and fairly large. And I'll just do a 100, go to 100, just so you can kind of see it. We'll skip all these. So there, I've drawn a pixel. Now, it kind of is not filling in the artifacting too well here because with a white background, it kind of blurs it up. But if you see on the bottom of the top of the circle, and I don't know how well it's showing on the stream, but you'll see some red. And basically, I've told it to draw it in red. And now I will do a poke. I don't know what pattern that's going to be. We'll find out. And then I'll do a paint. I'll center the paint at the center of the circle. And comma. Now, normally what you would put here would be the foreground color. I'm going to put just nothing. Don't specify number at all. That means it'll use whatever your current color command actually said. Which in this case, we've overridden with that poke 178. So it's got an oddball pattern in there now, not an actual color.
Well, what if it's green? Color. What if it's green, then we can't tell it's happening?
Say what?
What if it's green?
There's no green in this color set, Ron.
Oh. Okay.
But I'm going to tell it to stop painting once it hits color 2, which is the color we drew the circle in. So it will stop when it hits the circle. Yeah. And that happens to be whatever the pattern I picked. So now you can manipulate these. You can, if now VCC doesn't quite show the full complement range, like you can actually get some purples and greens and yellows and stuff depending on the patterns you pick. Experiment, because I mean everybody's TV or composite monitor is a little bit different probably, but you can actually get some pretty cool stuff in here, and this allows you to do this all in basic fairly easy, just like if you were using like CoCo Max or something like that. To do these, vertical striped patterns of sorts, and you can actually use them with the base, the basic drawing commands of like paint and circle and box line with box fill, etc. So that gives you a lot of extra, oomph to graphics you can draw without having to do this all manually, like figuring out where the heck you have to use like cosine and cosine to draw these vertical, lines manually to get the same effect. So that actually saves you a lot of time. And then as a secondary one, I'll just put in a line box fill, kind of doing the same thing. I will use a different pattern so you can kind of tell the difference. And we'll put it in the centered in the circle, I guess. So I'll go 40 pixels in, 60 pixels from the top, and we'll go 226 minus 40 would be 216, I guess, roughly. Actually, 255, I guess, so 215. And from the bottom, that'd be 191, because it's 0 to 191 minus 60. So I'm kind of centering this little rectangle. And we want P set to use the foreground color, which we've poked to 104, and box fill. So we're going to tell it to actually fill in the box with this pattern. Skip past this. So there, I've used the Poke 178 to do two different bite patterns. One's kind of a red-white mix with some black. The other one's an alternating blue and black lines, and Basic's drawing all that stuff for me. I didn't have to do anything except for one poke. And like I said, you can experiment and go through the different values and poke them in and see what you get. And you can use this for like painting backgrounds in a graphical adventure game, or even if you're initially drawing shapes for an arcade game and you need to fill in little bits of detail or paint some certain parts or draw squares with, little effects on there, you can just use the basic commands. You don't have to do anything really hyper fancy. So that's a couple demonstrations there for the CoCo 1 and 2 people out there of some little things that are not documented in the basic manual whatsoever.
Question, what about if you did this on Basic 09?
If you're running Basic 09 on a CoCo 1 and 2 on RF or Composite, it would do the same thing. Well, actually not. You wouldn't be able to use the poke. You'd have to change the way the paint works, because, of course, Basic 09 and OS 9 has stuff in different spots.
Okay.
There's a way to do it there, too. And like I said, I think with Darren Atkinson's MCX thing, it should work there as well. And this works on CoCo 1, 2, or 3, because they all use the exact same version of Basic to do this. Now, if you're doing this in RGB, I'll switch into RGB mode so you can see what it looks like there. But since RGB doesn't do artifacting, you lose all the color. You'll just get vertical stripes of white and black lines. So I will switch that just to show you what it looks like. I mean, you can still, it's more like a Mac paint program than it's like the original Mac. You can still do patterns, but they'll just be black and white. Sloopy, how are you doing there? Since I just finished my CoCo 1 and 2 a little bit.
Good.
Do we switch camera, or are you still working?
You can switch camera.
You're the only one that can switch cameras, Sloop.
Well, if Curtis stops sharing.
Yeah, I can do that.
And now it's a giant Curtis. Nobody wants to see that.
See.
No, I'll put the screen share back up.
Oh, you can
I've
do
switched the spotlight.
Cool. I came over to do it, and you were doing it. So
So apparently that I can do as a co-host.
You just can't split the screen.
Needs, some clips to hold things. I don't know if anyone saw them earlier, and they just go right under there when you don't need them. Basically, I've soldered up the board.
Yeah, we can't blow this up any further.
Two wires are plus 5 volts and ground, and the other two are the signal in and the signal out. It uses 3 resistors, and they're covered with heat shrink tubing to protect them. And now,
protect the innocent.
It's time.
Can we
to
get
open up
that
the
little
CoCo.
machine? Can we get that little machine over there to say WeFax instead?
Huh?
No, you can't.
All right.
Don't you have the screws out of that yet?
No.
What's the serial number?
52868.
Probably an E board, I'm guessing then. Just while he's on screen, I'll just answer a couple of comments from the chat here. Start to Barry N. That's Barry Nelson. Says, Renum, I think you appended line 20 onto the end of line 10. Line 20 appeared to exist because the line 20 wrapped to the next line. I don't remember doing anything odd there, but could be.
You might have.
Scanning down. Jim Gary said it'd be nice if you could get stipple like they used on a ton of NEC PC 6001 programs. Erico Montero says, I think I read something about these patterns on the 500 Pokes book, but never tried them. I do believe that poke was in the patterns thing. I think I learned it originally from Rainbow or CCN or something. Eric also asked, did that work on the draw command? I believe it does if you don't specify colors and you just, if it leaves the default of whatever you set the color command before you do your draw statement. I think it does, though I haven't actually tested that yet. Barry says, with the basic 9, OS9 supports pattern buffers. That is true on level 2. It doesn't on level 1. And I think if I remember, the fill command in level 1 only appeared in version 2. So if you had the original version 1.0 and 1.01 from 1983, it doesn't work at all doing that. But there's no flood fill command, period. But on version 2 that came out in 84, 85 somewhere, I think it was 85, that one did add the fill command.
Sloopy wanted to say something like, ta-da.
No, I was going more for the Vanna White thing of, and here we have the internals.
Oh, and Rocky Hill says, your CoCos have screws?
Yeah, I'm kind of stunned by that too, actually. I don't even have screws in mine. I'm not even a hardware guy.
Actually, I do have CoCos without screws in them. Those are the ones I use regularly.
Actually, I forgot to ask you, Sloopy, is this your own personal CoCo or is this for a client?
No, this is my own personal.
And is it an e-board? Was I right?
Right
side underneath the cartridge slot. Should be -E, -D, something like that.
E.
Right hand side, just south of the cartridge slot on the circuit board.
Yeah, I know. Yes, it is an E.
Aha, I guessed right.
And
I do.
Now I'm a hardware whiz.
And it has one of these in it, and one of those.
Yellow wires.
And you could pop an upgraded CPU in there, right?
Yes. You want to?
I do have to.
You want to see what it looks like to put a 6309 into this?
Is it going to lengthen?
Sure, go for it.
Looks like that.
Go.
Whoa.
And while he's doing that, I was going to mention that all of my CoCos actually have screws. I just don't know where most of them are.
That's the same as me.
Ace Hardware has replacements. They're gold colored.
And just for the record, this CoCo only had 2 screws in it. I added more just for the show to make it look good. So you grab your 6309.
You seem to have a few spares.
Actually, you can buy them at Retro Innovations, which you can go to goforretro.com and order one.
Also at Retro Rewind.ca, they both have them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or if you really need lots, you can just bulk order them because they're still made.
Yeah.
Now, are you grounded anywhere with a strap of some kind?
Nope.
All right, aren't you afraid that you're going to pop the CPU with static electricity?
Nope.
I mean, you see all these guys on YouTube and stuff, they're all, hooked up to the table or whatever they are.
Yep.
But not you.
Nope. Let me tell you something about static electricity.
Yes.
And such. Okay? When they say grounding, and you should ground yourself, okay? Technically, you're not grounding yourself, or you don't technically need to ground yourself. You need to equal the potential of energy between you and the device that you're working on. Okay? So,
all right.
When I go here to work on this, unfortunately you can't see it because I'm over here when I walk up to it. But what you'll see is when I walk up to it, you'll see me put my finger on a major ground part of the machine, which means that I'm equalizing the potential between my body and this machine, so that I won't have any static discharge between me and any component on here. And when I do this, my feet do not move on the floor unless I touch this again. So once I'm standing here with my feet in those positions, okay, I will let go and do what I need to do, but I will not, as soon as I move 1 foot, whether it's an inch or a foot, if I move it just a little bit, I will touch the ground again. Now, do I recommend other people doing this? No, I don't. For the simple fact that this has become such an ingrained thing in me in over 40 years that I do it without thinking. Using a strap is a good idea. This method also works because back when I was young and learning to do this stuff, I didn't have a strap. So it got so ingrained in me that I automatically touch it. You'll watch me when I'm like working on stuff that I'll go and touch it. And even when I'm wearing a ground strap, I'll still touch it. Now, the thing is that I could be at a different potential than ground. So if I touch something that actually has physical ground on it, like the case of this power supply, that is actually connected to the house ground circuit. So I'm actually grounded to the ground outside. But for the actual repair and working on this stuff, you just need to be at the same potential as the item. Now, doing it with a full ground all the way to the ground is not a bad idea, but it doesn't always. It's a little tricky and kind of technical, but it doesn't necessarily need it, and that won't always necessarily be a good idea. The best idea is for you to be your potential to be the same as what the item that you're working on.
Now,
A couple comments from the chat here. First of all, Rocky Hill says there's a lot of loose screws on here tonight. Absolutely true. Tech Todd says, what if I'm tired every day with no energy or potential? Rocky also said, I think that's a 6502 Sloopy shoving into that poor CoCo. I sure hope not. And Rocky also says, I like to moonwalk on carpet before I install an ICs. Also, to answer Erico's question about the draw command, I did test it, and yes, the poke does work for overriding the colors. Go ahead, Slippy, what were you saying?
No,
He was just showing that it wasn't a 6502.
Oh, okay. Couldn't tell because it's too dark.
I mean, like, both chips are black, so.
And of course, he's blocking the view of what he's doing here, so it's all going to be magic.
Here's another dumb question, but have you ever seen the newer chip there, the Hitachi chip with a gold square on it and a line coming out of it like some of the older 6809s?
I have not. In fact, I think that was part of the old NMOS thing, so I don't know if it even would have.
There,
upgrade done. That's how easy it is in the CoCo 1 because they actually socketed the CPU in the CoCo 1.
Oh, man, you didn't have to do any of that.
Nope.
So now your CoCo 1 will run cooler and draw
And
less
unless-
energy.
Unless the
Not
divot on it is in the wrong position.
Yeah. Not one leg is cut on this CPU.
Yep, so you got a perfectly good
Lightning.
6809 backup. What was that, Ken?
I said, bite me, Slippy.
Is there a bit of history going here between the two?
Yes. One time, a long time ago, when I was a lot worse at soldering than I am now, I was taking a 6809 out of my CoCo 3, and because I wasn't very good at doing it, I started to lift some of the pads. So rather than doing any damage to the board, I decided to cut the legs on that cheap-ass 6809, and Sloopy hasn't let me live it down since then. He would have preferred that I...
Several of the hardware columnists recommended doing it that way because of the pad lifting.
He would have preferred that I actually completely destroy the CoCo 3 board rather than cut the legs on that IC.
Yeah, because then he could charge you to like replace it.
Because he is an Atari person. He's really in this to
Screw us over.
Screw us over.
Well, he probably gets a lot of chips, extra chips that way, right?
I mean,
And boards.
You just get near those boards with a soldering iron, those pads curl up.
6809s are common as snot. Why would you need one when you can put a 6309 in anyway?
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about the 609 here on the CoCo One is I don't know how much RAM. Do you have 64K in there, Sloopy?
Yes, I got this machine with 64K.
Okay, so you're ready to run Nitrous 9 Level 1 609, which runs a lot faster, and you're ready to run a bunch of the games that we've been patching for the 609. A lot of the DICOM stuff. I've got a couple more actually in the works too, so probably won't be ready for September though.
But don't you have to go to somewhere like maybe your site or some information page that says that these games are the ones that you want to play if your machine has the newer
Actually,
chip?
if you go in the Color Computer Archive,
They have them
and go to the
listed
search bar,
as
there's a
6309.
tag option, the drop down tag thing. You could select 609 only, and it'll highlight all the ones that do that.
Awesome.
And now I'm installing the video inline. These
So,
lines are going to be really long because I don't know how long where they all go. So I'm just going to, as a temporary thing, just for the show, I'm going to...
Taking it from inside the can?
He said, are you taking it from inside the cam?
No, I'm taking it from where it goes into the can because
Okay.
he actually shows it in the directions. He shows it disconnecting the lead from where the can comes out, and then you use the RF socket for the output.
Oh, so you're like replacing the guts of the
Yeah, so
modulator.
instead of it being RF, it's composite.
So you use the same input socket thing.
I'm even using the same old solder. Just a little bit of flux.
Kidding.
Capacitor?
So these wires you're putting on aren't considered bodge wires, right? Because they don't fix anything. They just
They're just brand new wires.
yeah, new wires. Not
What's a bodge
so-
wire?
Yeah, what is a
It's a
bodge
kludge.
wire?
It's a kludge wire.
Oh,
A bodge
okay.
wire is a kludge wire. It's a regional dialect thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
And for anybody that out there that doesn't know, bodge wires and kludge wires are the wires that you put between two components to fix a broken trace or some other problem that has arisen.
In the past, they used to use those wires as what they call wire wrap wire. When you wrap that stuff around these square posts to make your connections.
Is that because the wire doesn't need to be very thick?
Yeah, the insulation was thin. You had this tool that you used to wrap the wire around the post. The corners of the post cut through the insulation, and used to basically, that was one way of wiring up like computer interconnects between boards, or like a way to do breadboarding.
Without soldering?
Yes, without soldering.
Wow.
Couple more comments in the chat here. So Barry Nelson says, on a CoCo 3, I also recommend clipping the CPU pins rather than trying to desolder the CPU. If you clip the pins close to the board, you can solder pins back to the CPU pin stubs and still use the 6809. And I know some people back in the day used to have a little toggle switch to go between both CPUs. Because we had, the initial versions of Nitrous 9 and Power Boost did have a few bugs at the beginning. I know Nick wouldn't have let that happen, but it allowed you to switch back so you could run certain software if it didn't run properly. Steve Rapson, Buck Owens is asking, what gimmick is he installing?
So you're saying any project that Nick works on does not have bugs?
That's what he claims.
What?
But he's also got a very short memory.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I seem to remember that Steve Rasmussen in the comments there, Buck Owens, often breaks
Nick's games. Yeah.
Nick's games.
Finds bugs. I've done the same.
So how long are those wires? How long do they need to be?
Nowhere near how long I have them. I'm just doing them long because that's how long they were. It didn't come with wires for me. I'm just using my own wires that I had already cut.
Okay.
And I'm just doing the install so people get the basic idea of what needs to be done. Later on, I'll shorten up the wires as short as they need to be and make it look nice and a good install and good.
So you're doing this as though we're kindergartners.
Aren't we?
Little babes.
Throwing it in to get it working, and then he'll make it look neat later.
So how many of us have opened up a CoCo and seen a mod in there that you don't know what it's for, and it's got long wires and it's just in there?
I have. I gave it to Ken.
Anyone know of a good place to get the ground from?
Anywhere.
Anywhere?
Under your feet?
And 5 volts.
There is a touch point that's 5 volts, but really off any TTL.
Multimeter, very useful.
Ground, I'd just get off the ground plane around
Shield
anywhere.
Or something.
The shield, yeah.
So, you know what? The modulator on. Let me look up the voltage of that modulator. You might. Oh, that's probably 12 volts. I don't think I have a schematic for an E-board specifically.
Yeah, the E-board, for those who don't know, that was the first board that supported 32K easily. The original D-board was only made for 4 and 16, so you had to like double stack chips and do weird stuff, but the E-board made it fairly simple. And then the F-board, which actually doesn't say F anywhere on there, it's actually the 285 board, made 64K easy. And was first showed up in the TDP 100 even before it showed up in the CoCo.
Oh, cool. So was there an A, B, and C? I know there was a C board.
Yeah,
I have never seen an A or B. Have you, Mark?
I think A and B never got out of production, out of prototyping.
Okay. I honestly, I thought the C board never made it until Richard Lobieski showed us he had a couple of them, I think.
He does.
If they got out, it was very, very few.
Barry Nelson in the chat, he said, I built my own composite mod for a CoCo 1 documented here, and he tried to paste a URL, and of course it got wiped out. Barry, if you go on the CoCo Discord, we created a new channel under the CoCo Nation section called CoCoTECH, and you can paste the URL there for people to see.
What revision is your board, Slippy?
E.
This is an E board.
Okay, you should be able to get 5 volts off of
Any TTL chip.
There's one right by the cam though that you can get it.
So Bob Emery in the chat saying here at Rondell Deluxe is what he's calling him. He says, I opened up my CoCo 1 and found a mod that I forgot doing, and what it was for turned out to be a high-res joystick mod.
Ooh. Yeah, but see, he was able to communicate with me without knowing my last name well.
R5 should have 5 volts going into it.
R5?
One end, anyway.
Yeah.
And Buck Owens obviously watched Chronologically Gaming last night, because one thing that Jeff covered during the show yesterday was the first anniversary issue of Rainbow. It's the first time he's covered a CoCo magazine in the show, because he's covered Antic and a bunch of others before. But at that time in the CoCo's history in mid-1982, there was a huge argument going, and this was in all the magazines, of what are we going to nickname the Tier City color computer? Are we going to call it a CoCo or an ADC? There's one or two other odd ones, but those were the two main contenders. And
what
Rainbow,
does
that
ADC
particular
stand for?
80 CoCo. Basically the middle of Tier 80 color computer, the 80 part with the C added from the start of color.
80, not AD. Okay.
Yeah, 80, the number. And there was a huge argument going back and forth in the letters pages in these magazines as to which one they wanted, because some people thought CoCo sounded too much like a toy, and others complained that ADC implies it's a Z80 and it's not. And it took about 6 months of arguing back and forth, and eventually CoCo won. And eventually there was even a magazine called Hot CoCo. So, but he just said, yeah, we should. He said he's watching ADC Tech because he's directly implying from that episode yesterday. So I'll be mentioning that in the news, but you guys can check it out. It's already up on YouTube and Twitch.
So there's no audio with this mod or whatever?
No, it doesn't look like it.
So would you redo the RF cam then to make that into an audio output instead? Or are you just losing audio doing this modification?
Hold on a second.
I'd have to read the directions.
Don't you know Sloopy's thinking?
Yeah, I saw a little wisp of smoke from the one brain cell coming off the top of his head. So.
He's going to tell me if it doesn't work, it's because Ron Deluxe was talking.
I'm going to say
I'm still trying to figure out if he did that on purpose just to compliment you, or if that was autocorrect going nuts.
What?
Well, I've said it on the show, so.
Facebook user, unfortunately I have to do the thing to get the Facebook names to show up through the restream, says, I picked up a CoCo 1D board that had 64K on it from VCF Midwest that had a lot of wire in the board. Absolutely, you had to cut traces and stuff to get 64K to work in a D board. One of our club members here in Saskatoon back in 82, 83 upgraded mine to 64K, and that's exactly what he had to do. He had to pull the whole circuit board out and cut traces on the bottom. And
yep, some of the power rails end up becoming address lines.
The question for the audio. Basically on the RF can, right there, because there's 4 wires that go in. This wire, the second one from the left, as you're looking at it, that is actually audio. You can actually bring that out. You need 2 resistors and a diode, and then you put a RCA jack on the back of the machine to connect that for the audio, so you can have both audio and video.
Okay, so that's covered then.
All right.
Yeah, let's see if Sloopy's computer blows up.
Or even if he gets audio, video coming out of it.
He'll just say he is because we can't see his TV.
Yeah, we can't see it, so it's always successful, isn't it?
Hey, worked like a charm. Okay, moving on.
That's why he has his screen actually off screen for us, so he can just lie and say, yeah, we're fine.
Is it gray or blue smoke if it's wrong?
Oh, by the way, Bob Emery replied about your name there, Ron, and he said, it's just easier to type than Delvaux,
Yeah,
plus it
sure
sounds
is.
cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Rocky Hill. Actually, you're just about to do something there, Sloopy, you want to talk about?
I'm about to turn it on and test it.
Okay, I will shut up then.
So you've...
Oh, cool, it works.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we have no idea if you're lying, Sloopy.
Oh, I was hoping the sarcasm was dripping through.
Now he just
turned it on yet.
He just turned it on.
I didn't even turn it on.
Hey, that's some really nice snow.
Is that pallet shifting you're doing, or what are you doing there?
How are you doing that on the CoCo?
Oh, you have it's a Panasonic, isn't it?
Yes.
So I have one just like it, only huge.
It works.
I see video.
Yep.
So now you just got to make the little audio circuit.
Yep.
And make sure the sound works.
Sound 800,1.
Which will be nothing
well,
because
you
he
won't be
doesn't
able
have
to
the
hear
audio hooked up.
Yeah. He's got to make that little thing he was just talking about with a couple parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have those
color
parts?
That's for another show.
Yep.
Oh, gee.
And
Well, we got to entice you enough to come back, right, Ron?
yeah,
Got to tease you a bit.
it's just
That's actually a pretty good picture on there.
yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Does that camera support like remote zooming and stuff? Because that'd be perfect for your streams.
No, I'm getting another one that will. I mean, this is an old Logitech webcam. It's a 525. It's so old it's only 720p.
Oh, that's why the CoCo looks so good.
Yeah. But yeah, the light that's up here, it's actually going to be recessed further in so that it doesn't have as much glare.
Yeah, because it is wiping out the very top of your screen there for us. So
Yeah, well, it's also reflecting the light for me too. So
since you have the camera in hand, do you have enough cable on there to actually come up close to the actual circuit you just put in, so we can kind of see it?
hold on.
And Jim
anyone who gets
has gone to
motion-
bed. So good night, Jim.
Anyone
Yeah,
who
good
gets
night, Jim.
motion sickness
Good
may
night.
want to look away for a minute.
Well, actually, I'm going to go through some more comments on YouTube while you're getting that going, or on the chat, I should say.
Yeah.
Rocky Hill talking about the upgrading 64K and a D board CoCo. He said cutting traces on a new CoCo that must have been nerve-wracking. Oh, was it ever for me? Dick Powell was the person who was doing it, and he spent a lot of time taking the circuit board out and cutting and bodge wires and all this kind of stuff and put all the chips in. And he plugs it back into my TV, and I'd paid $200. This was a lot of money for me at the time. And turned it on, and it came up with like inverse at signs and orange stripes. And he goes, "Oh, that doesn't look good." And I'm going, "Oh crap, is my machine dead?" And he goes, "Just kidding, I just have a loose wire." He fixed it right away. Bastard.
Yeah.
Okay, and here we have the close-up.
Do you have your other hand free to kind of point out, because you got so many other mods that I just want to make sure people are seeing what you just did versus stuff
I
that was
added
already there.
this wire for ground and this wire for 5 volts. And it's okay. Yeah, this wire's for 5 volts. This wire's for ground. This red wire is the video out. And then over here on the side, the wire in the back for the RF modulator, that is the video in. The yellow
pretty
wire and
simple.
the orange wire are for the 64K paging mod, which I'm sure you can explain to them. And then this is, because this machine was a when I got it, it didn't have any ROMs in it. Had the 64K, which I had to fix because it wasn't working quite right, because whoever did the 64K mod messed it up. So it didn't have any ROMs. So I put a color basic ROM in and made a extended color basic ROM. And then this is the internal drive wirelessly board.
Okay.
What's that board underneath the chip?
Which one?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Ron. You cut out. What was that?
The long one underneath the
drive wireless board?
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the drive wirelessly board. There's going to be another CoCoTECH show on that.
Okay, cool.
So is there any questions?
Yeah, even though the wires are long, it doesn't pick up any extraneous noise or anything.
No, it looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, it does.
That's my next question for you, Sloopy, because I think you've done the Mark Data version, which is actually on one of the other hardware sites you can download too. What is the quality of this one compared to that, or is there a difference?
I have not done that one.
I've been working with the Mark Data one on a couple computers, so.
And literally speaking, I can't really compare to anything except for the one that I did, which was just a few parts on a perf board, which this actually looks much better. I was going to show that one also because the machine is sitting off stage, ready to be put here, so I can show it to compare.
The reason I was asking is I've seen a few people complaining that the Mark Data one is not that good. It still gets a fair bit of interference, etc.
It does.
It
does.
I have a composite upgrade on my T2 CoCo 2, and underneath that where that square area is empty, the guy that put in the upgrade to that put both jacks on the inside of those of that square underneath, which makes it kind of nice. So you can still use the TV out, and you can use the composite
as well.
sound underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, let me. All right. Let's see here.
Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, but I think Zipster's own Ed Snyder, he actually published something. There's a capacitor or something that's changed from the stock mark data board to make it a bit better.
I don't know. I'll have to look into that because I'm fixing a mark data, or no, I'm fixing a computer with a mark data composite mod in it right now. So
the other thing about the composite mod that I have is it's got clips for the wires. It doesn't, it isn't soldered in. And the other thing is it has a switch under there between the two that can switch it to black and white.
Yeah.
I don't know who made that one.
It's possible to modify this one to put the switch in for just color. I mean, for just black and white, and turn off the color. It's also possible to not stop the to not use the RF. I mean, I was going to look into it eventually, but it's like pretty low on the to-do list. What I can say is that this does look almost on par with Ed Snyder's composite mod for the CoCo 2. I have a US CoCo 2, and the sharpness on that screen is as good as that. The sharpness on my own modded CoCo 1 isn't quite as good as this, but it's still quite usable, but it's not quite as good as this, and I'll go grab it in a second. The other thing is that this actually looks better than my Commodore 64 that I use on this TV all the time. There's like no dot crawl. It's stable. The colors are very solid on this.
If you had yellow on one side, you know how it happens on occasion. Mm-hmm. When you hook it to a TV, would it show up on this one with the upgrade on it?
Yes.
Would it still have the yellow?
As long as you have the color burst running, yes, you will. That whole problem is with the color burst signal. The color
It has nothing to do with it being NTSC.
It has everything to do with the NTSC because the color burst is what makes NTSC NTSC.
Oh, okay. So composite is also NTSC.
Right. There's composite and there's PAL NTSC. It's not as a big of a difference. The major difference is the color and the 50 or 60 hertz of the refresh. So a monitor that's capable of doing 50 or 60 hertz refresh, either one of them will be able to display a black and white picture from a composite source, whether it's NTSC or PAL. The only difference is that if you don't match the method of color, which PAL uses a significantly different method, then you'll only get a black and white picture.
Got a comment here from Bob Emery too in the chat. He said the Mark Data Products composite mods I've seen shift the artifact phase to green purple instead of red blue. Ken, have you noticed that on any of yours?
I haven't seen that yet, but it's done a lot of weird things.
And then Coco Living is asking or saying it would be nice if there was a way for the Coco to print to a USB printer. I think you can actually do that through DriveWire, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your DriveWire sleeve would support that with the proper print driver on the Coco side.
Well, yeah. I mean, anything you can do in DriveWire, you'd be doing Drive wirelessly because it just takes the wire out of the equation. It doesn't change anything else.
Yeah.
So, any other questions?
Not that I can think of it. Well, the chat is, from what I've seen here, is probably about 15 seconds, 10 seconds behind us. So I'll have to wait for any from the panel.
She's pretty thorough.
All right.
And Mark B's either away or he's remembered to mute his mic when he's having a nap.
I think I'm muted.
Oh,
We
you're still
woke him
awake.
up. Way to go, Curtis. You woke up Mark.
Yep. Muted.
All right.
I think you could probably go to bed now if you want, Mark.
So, Mark, you didn't
The
get
show
to
is
see the
safely,
sparks
the show
or
is
anything.
safely off the. I'm still half tuned.
Let's put it this way, Mark. The show's not going to get worse.
The bang sizzle is a very familiar sound.
Yeah. Slippy, you going to be a minute or two?
I'm walking over now with it.
Okay, because I was going to answer Erico's question with a screen share, but I'll wait.
Yeah. And here is my other. I need to change my. Guess it would probably help if I changed the camera.
Mr. Dave is asking me, word pack 2 cart yet?
There.
I have a Word Pack 2 card.
This
Yep,
is,
I think Ken does as well.
Yes, I do. I've just got to get a multi-pack before I can start using it.
This is my
It works
primary
pretty good.
CoCo one that I use.
Or a Y cable.
And the only reason why it has screws in it is because it went to VCF Midwest.
Yep, I see you upgrade the keyboard too to a CoCo 2 keyboard.
Yes.
Rocky Hill's asking, Sloopy, is that an XFCE on your Mac?
An XFCE.
Yeah.
What, the thing making the video going across?
No. Does he mean the LED array?
I don't have a clue.
No idea what an XFCE is.
I don't either.
Sounds familiar.
Once the chat catches up, we'll find out what he's talking about or asking about. Hey, go ahead, Sloopy. You might as well continue while we're waiting.
Oh, XFCE. No. Yes, it is. It's the window manager in Debian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're talking Linux stuff now.
Yeah, this is a 2007 iMac, and I use it for my USB microscope, so I call it an iMac, EYE Mac, because mostly all it does is show the display for my USB microscope. Here, I'll show you.
That makes it so you can see if the trace is broken.
There.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that would come in handy.
I really need to start using my USB microscope more.
Yep.
Does that have a light with it? Can you
yeah,
can
it
you
has
shove
a
it
light
in?
in it, but I don't really use it much.
Can you shove it into the side of the CoCo and look at stuff in the CoCo without opening it up?
I guess you could do that. The thing is it's manual focus, so I'd have to.
Oh,
And here we go into the side of the.
say
Let's turn it upside right.
What's wrong with the patient, Doc?
He's got a microscope shoved up his cartridge port.
His wazoo.
But yeah.
Yeah, same thing, but Yep, there it is.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially with more modern stuff, which is they keep shrinking it, so it's really hard to see what you're working on.
Yeah, to give you an idea, that's a thumbnail.
Yeah, that's the thing you're zooming up on the Mac screen right now.
Yep.
That's not a thumbnail. We haven't even finished the show yet. You can't make a thumbnail yet.
Yeah, I can. It's right there.
Rocky says, family time calls. Good night, everybody. Is this going to be a regular show? It will be repeated.
Not every week, but
yeah, it could even be twice a week if some topics of different things come up and we want to dedicate the show to it. So it's whenever we got stuff we want to present or people request stuff they would like us to present.
So I have a CoCo that's got problems. If I send it to you, you can repair it for me live on a show one time.
Oh, no. We'll walk you through it.
No.
Yeah, Ken can fix it.
I'll bring it to CoCo Fest.
All right, there. It's like washed out, obviously, so it's not. You can't really see it, but it's like,
pretty clear.
Pretty free of interference.
It's
It's
not really clear, and there's like a busyness about it. I don't know how to explain it, but like in the green, if you look at it,
it's just not quite focused.
Yeah, it's like off focus, and the C64 does the same thing, but with the other mod, it actually looks crystal clear.
Actually, if you look at the bottom line, you can really actually see there's the crawling pixels along the bottom of it.
Yeah, when I move things around, it'll make it a lot easier to do this. So.
Still, it's better than RF.
Well, I'm saying to show it off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, that's the same with the Mark Data product ones. It's not the best looking, but it's certainly a lot better than RF and makes it 1,000 times easier to capture footage from it.
And I always assumed that once, all the analog over the air broadcasting stopped, that, RF would suddenly have no interference. I thought RF would be great. Has that actually happened or no?
RF is a lot better than it used to be, but
not that great.
It still interferes
it's still,
with itself.
Yeah. Basically, it interferes with itself. So
you have a couple of non-stock feet on there, don't you? And one missing.
That is correct.
Have you ever had feet on on the drive that's the same shape as the ones on the CoCo that are square-like, and they turn rubbery to where they'll stick on the table or they'll leave black marks? Goop. Yeah, I've had that on a CoCo and on a floppy drive.
And you can still buy them.
This is the upgrade that I did. It actually uses 2 transistors.
Tip the keyboard toward us. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit better look that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it uses 2 transistors and a couple resistors.
Hey, well, I'm going to run off to bed, guys.
All right. Well, thanks, Mark.
Thank you,
Thanks
Mark.
for all your help today.
And this already has a 6309 in it.
Yeah, that was the next question.
Good stuff. You have to do a demo of a 639 game to prove that it works, too.
Yeah, basically the long story short on that machine is, the one I did the composite upgrade in, is I got it at CoCo Fest this year, and I just haven't had time to do anything with it, so it's been sitting there. I've wanted to do this for a couple weeks, for a month or two now. Yeah, about 4 to 6 weeks. I got the composite mod. I wanted to do this and show it off on the show, but haven't been able to. So we kind of decided to do it here on the CoCoTECH as a beta test run.
Yay!
It worked.
Yep, and I'll throw in before we end the show here. I'll throw in a couple of lower little bits for people that had just gotten a CoCo 3 at a trade show from eBay. I got a couple little tiny tricks to it, not the whole programs. But is there anything else that you wanted to mention, Slippy, or what your next stream will be? You think?
I don't
Besides
know.
the audio, I guess you got to do that yet. But
Yeah, I mean, I've got to work out the audio. I'm just looking for suggestions and recommendations. I may do a piece on the like self-serving ones, like the CoCo Flash cartridge, and
Is that a monitor to the right? Is that a PVC or whatever they call them? PV.
yeah,
something?
that's a black and white composite monitor.
Looks familiar.
Yeah, I was going to use that for demonstrating the composite video, but people seemed to want color, so I went with the TV.
Well,
it would be good to show it eventually. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say, it is called a color computer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as you notice on yours, Ken, like the CoCo 2 that I gave you there, that had a composite mod, and I think it actually originally had a switch to going to monochrome. Like if you're running like a word processor at a fairly high density, they did switch the color burst off because it was much easier to read. You don't get all that blue-red fringing. You
I
get
didn't
more
see
solid
anywhere
white.
where there might have been a switch.
Well, I thought there was.
No, you're talking about the two wires that were hanging out the back?
No, I thought there was some others, couple of wires off the composite. Maybe I'm thinking of one of the machines I gave Jason. I can't remember.
Yeah,
now.
because it's
So
not
much
on
crap
that
I got that day.
Not off that one.
So if you put a mod on a black and white monitor, would the color be one intensity and then the black and white be brighter?
Basically, the white will be white, the black will be black, and the colors will be different intensities in between. Red will be like darker than like green. Blue will be between them.
Right, but if you switched it to black and white, would it be more of an intense picture than the color would be with the green?
No, it would show as like a light gray.
Okay.
By the way, Bob Emery's volunteering. He said next time he can show how to use the channel switch to control SCART RGB composite switching. So this is one thing. This is going to be a community-based show. It's not going to be just us, the people that were on the panel today. It'll be like anybody wants to volunteer and show a hardware, software project, or some technical details on such a thing. We're open to suggestions. We're open for volunteers who want to come in and show some unique stuff they've done as well.
I want to see Ken demo one of these cartridges.
We don't. Oh, there we go.
CoCo Diagnostic? Well, hey.
I know you got one.
To be just a little bit self-serving, if you watch the video that will be released on either Thursday or Friday, I actually do have some CoCo Diagnostic stuff in there, as well as the computer that me and Curtis have been talking about.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, this is the one right here, and for some reason, my label faded, so it's...
Can't see it.
So what's the difference between that and the Diagnostic of the old days?
This one supports up to 8 megs of memory.
Plus,
That's
it supports 609 detection.
609 detection. This is
2-button joysticks.
No, it doesn't do 2-button. It only does 1 button.
Oh, it only does one? Oh, I thought he did fix that already.
Did he fix it already? Because I was going to mention it to him that it only does the 1.
I thought they'd mentioned it when we were at the fest that they were going to do that, but maybe if they forgot, maybe contact.
No, because
Frank.
I think at the fest, Frank said, "That's it. I am done with that. I don't ever want to look at that diagnostic cartridge again." And then he gave me a copy of it, and I'm like, "Oh, I found something that he can fix on it."
And Erico, I'm before you leave, too, I'll show you that DM thing, or the draw command, because it does work with that. So I added a little bit of code there to show it. So please send suggestions on the Facebook CoCo Nation group. Join that freely. Also, if you're on the CoCo Discord, you can leave messages on the brand new CoCoTECH channel. That's in the CoCo Nation subsection of channels. And if you want, I can close out with just a couple last minute tricks, like the one for Erico, and then just some CoCo 3 stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then
And I
no
can have
programming
supper.
this time.
1 second.
1 second.
Oh, you want to show
Oh,
something else first?
He's going to show the diagnostic cartridge.
Okay. I haven't hit share yet, so.
Yeah,
We're
Well,
looking
we
at,
see you have an Adam's apple.
we're looking at, I think we're looking at Sloopy's underarm now.
I'm putting on the microphone. There. All right.
Ew, we don't want to look at Sloopy.
Yeah, that diagnostic is going to take a long time.
CoCo 1 and 2, 6309.
Bouncy.
Ugh, ugh.
I'm starting to get seasick. Or absolutely.
There.
Yes, that is the
Yeah, so detects it's a CoCo 1 or 2 versus a CoCo 3, which the original diagnostic cart does not do. 639 versus 689, the original diagnostic does not do. In fact, the original diagnostic cart, I think, didn't even detect 64K RAM, did it?
No.
I don't think so.
16K, that's it.
Yeah, because it was made for the CoCo 1, the original D-board, C-board ones.
Yep. So, expansion ROM test.
That would be the extended basic.
Yes.
And what does that mean?
This is checking to make sure the ROM's proper and not somebody hasn't fudged with it.
Well, do you have to have that number written down somewhere to compare it to, or?
It tells you if it's correct or not because there's only a few versions.
Yeah, 2 versions of extended, and there was 4 versions of color basic.
Okay.
And there's a video test.
So if it didn't work, what did it say failed?
Yeah.
On some of the things, it will say that, and some it's up to you to decide that it failed.
Oh, because
like it doesn't know if the video is corrupt because it can't tell.
Okay.
And there it's doing a RAM test.
Looks like the patterns I just showed earlier.
Yep.
pretty much.
I was writing bit patterns to make sure that, there's no stuck bits or bits that are permanently on or off. And you're seeing a 6K portion of it on screen.
Does it eventually end?
Yes.
It does a pretty extensive test, but it does take a while.
Takes a very long time.
You should try it on an 8 meg machine, see how long it takes.
I think he kind of guesstimated that if you did it on an 8 meg, it would take somewhere around 24 hours.
Glad I don't have an 8 meg machine.
So if
yeah,
you
but
have
64K, it still takes minutes.
more than minutes. I think it takes about 20 minutes.
Plus, yeah, you're running on a CoCo 1 too, so it can't do double speed, so it's cranking the test at 0.895 megahertz.
Oh, sure, it can do double speed. The RAM can't do double speed.
But it can in short bursts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the diagnostic cartridge from Retro Rewind.
Yep.
If you
That's at
retrorewind.ca.
retrorewind.ca.
In stereo.
Coming at you from the center and the west of Canada in stereo.
Okay, so Erico, I will show you the draw command. Unless you had some more to show Sloopy if you wanted.
Nope.
Okay. I assume I've taken over the screen.
Yep.
Okay, so basically all I added here, because he was asking if the draw command supports this. So line 80, you can see it says draw blank move to 0, 0, which means don't draw anything, just move the graphics cursor to 0, 0. And then F is a diagonal to the down to the right line of 100. But leaving the original poke 178, 104 still active from line 70. So just skip past these. And it should do a diagonal line from the upper left corner in the last pattern, which would be the blue. And there you go. You can see the blue-black alternating pattern. So yes, it does work on the draw command as long as you don't specify color within the draw command itself.
Why? What happens if you specify color?
Then it just
Then it
says one
overrides
solid
it.
color.
And it'll do a solid color instead. Yeah.
So technically, if you had used the first poke, then it would have done a black, white, or red or orange or whatever color that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still using the P mode 3 trick, so you would still get 4 colors instead of the normal, as Tandy would tell you, to do it just black and white.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to flip over to RGB mode inside of VCC.
You remember the movie called Halt and Catch Fire?
Yeah.
Did you ever
TV
see
show.
it?
The series?
Yeah. So is there a command or a set of commands or any programming you can do to screw up the computer to where it won't work?
There is on the 6809.
There
but it
is?
won't screw up the computer, so it doesn't work.
That is a legend based off of two things.
The pet?
On the very early pets, there was a poke that would
Freeze it.
Instead of doing a refresh on the monitor like it was supposed to, it would put out a steady voltage which would burn up the monitor. The machine itself would be fine. It's just the monitor would be blown out.
Oh.
The other thing is it's also based off of a urban myth or urban legend of a ASCII teletype command called EOU, end of user, which was actually end of unit. But because ASR 33 teletypes were big, clunky, loud mechanical machines, the thought of it actually self-destructing and taking the user with it was not out of the realm of possibility. So if you sent the EOU command to the computer or to the terminal, it would end the user and the terminal. And this was never true, but it was it was something that people who were heavily into computers back in the day would portray as a joke onto non-computer people.
And Curtis, is this why you called Nitrous 9 ease of use?
No, not at all.
EOU?
But I think isn't there a
Not at
command
all.
in the 6809 instruction set that actually does some sort of strobe thing on the bus? I can't remember the exact technical explanation. There's some sort of command that was used for testing, but it will hang the machine dead, and you have to power cycle to get the CPU back. A reset will not fix it. It's some sort of hardware test thing that they have built in.
I think there's stuff like that on a lot of systems.
Yeah, I think there is a I think I've read something along those lines. But I don't
Because
know if
I've
it's
always been told
6809.
that's the equivalent of the halt and catch fire type thing on the CoCo. It doesn't actually do that, but it does mean you have to literally cut power to the CPU to bring it back. After you put it in this state, reset will do nothing.
Right. So.
And it's a single instruction in the 6809 instruction set. That's not documented in the normal manuals because they don't want people doing that.
Our next show is going to include
how to kill your CoCo.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's easy. Bring it to Curtis for soldering. It's dead. Trust me.
Show, I want Ron to research the whole end of user and halt and catch fire instruction and give us a detailed history on it.
I'll be going on vacation that week.
I don't want to hear any. I don't want to hear any excuses.
Okay, so my last couple little bits here. I'm not going to even touch Nitrous 9 today. Everybody cheer. This is for people that have newly acquired a CoCo 3. So this is CoCo 3 specific stuff I'll be showing here. So the CoCo 3 by default boots up in 32 column green screen, just like CoCo 1, 2, mainly for backwards compatibility. So if you plugged in cartridges and stuff, everything works as expected, backwards compatible with CoCo 1, 2. Now, a lot of people hate the green screen for programming on it, especially, or even if you're just running programs that are written for the the green screen, like text adventure games or editors or something like that. But the thing is, with the CoCo 3, with the Gimme chip, you actually have palette registers, and you can actually change what those colors are, even above and beyond what the T1 VDG can do. So in the case of the CoCo here, palette 12 is the foreground color, the letters themselves, and palette 13 is the background, the green box you see here. So if I do this, I'm going to change 12 to color 63, which is white, and 13 I'm changing to color 1 in RGB mode. It would be a little bit different or composite, but to dark blue, which is one of my favorite ones. This is pretty nice in the eyes here. And now you can run text editors, edit basic programs, and in whatever palette you like. If you want inverse video, if you want green, amber, or whatever. Those are your two palettes you need to know for the 32 column screen. 12 for your foreground color, 13 for your background color.
What does ATTR 3,2 do?
That sets the attributes for the width 40 and 80 screens only. It has nothing to do with 32 column screen.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, 'cause
magic.
Now,
That's
go ahead.
That's magic. That's not a CoCo.
That looks like a Apple 2GS.
Yes.
So one other thing you get, we just talked about here, literally on the CoCo 3 is you get 40 and 80 column screens. You can do width 40 and you can do width 80. Now, black on green is kind of hard to read. I mean, on an RGB monitor, it's not bad, but it's still kind of hard to read. I'll just do with 40 so it's easier for people to see on the stream here, but it works on both. It's the same colors on both. But you can do that same trick, basically. Now, as Ron had mentioned, the attribute command, you can actually change what colors control your foreground, what colors control your background. But on a power-up state, like we are now, you can do palette 8 for the foreground color. And I'll do the same colors here just so you can see the effect. Oops. 863.
Palette 78, did they get a lot more now?
Well, the Gimme X has support for more, but anyway. So in this case here, 8 controls the foreground and 0 controls the background. So you'll see I got the same white on blue. Now you notice the border color, because now we have an independent border color register, which we never had in the CoCo 1 and 2, is independent. It can have a color outside of the 16 colors you normally have. So you can technically get 17 colors on the screen legally. The people that wrote Basic Microware that patched it for the CoCo 3 actually made it so that if you do a CLS 1, after just doing regular attributes, it'll clear the border color to the same color as the background color. So now I've got my border matching as blue as well. So that's a little trick you can do. Is you can set your own custom colors and change the border, or you can leave it independent so the border's separate. Some people did Star Trek games where they use the border color for your alert status, green for green, yellow for yellow, or red for red alert type thing. So that's a couple of other tricks there. If you want to make the screen a little bit easier to read, I will mention on Composite on the CoCo, and the Composite on the CoCo 3 is probably not as good as the one Sleepy just put in, to be honest. It's pretty crappy. And the RF out for that matter. You can change it so that you basically invert it. So you can have like black text on a white background, and that kills a lot of the artifacting. So it clears up the signal a little bit, and you actually can read text in the 40 and 80 columns a bit better. So that's, you can use these two sets of palette commands I showed you here tonight to change that. And if you only have a composite or an RF, based TV connection, you can actually make it quite a bit more readable for programming and stuff. And the next time I'm on, I'll cover some stuff in Nitrous 9. One thing, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is I will cover the missing seminar, where Ken and I are muted for the entire hour. And probably throw a few extra things in while I'm at it.
We'll just replay the seminar and
try to lip sync
and try to lip sync it. Try to remember exactly what we said a year ago or 8 months ago or whatever it was.
I was winging it, so I don't really know. I had a little guide sheet of what stuff to cover, and then I totally winged it.
That's what I had too.
Yeah. I'm still a bit upset about that.
What did they?
But Sylvie,
they didn't record the audio.
No. If you go watch on YouTube, it's just dead silent for the entire hour.
So they recorded the video, but not the audio.
Yeah.
Right.
And the keynote by Frank, I think, is also.
No, it was
or was
Boat
that something
and
else wrong?
Was Boat and Aaron.
Okay, yeah, because they were mad because they were supposed to be releasing a video on their own channel, and they couldn't. And then I think Jason Reichert actually had recorded it on his phone, so they released that instead.
I'm sure John went through the roof.
Yeah, he was not happy. I saw a lot of the complaints even in private. I wasn't happy either. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
That's and Ken, if I remember correctly, we actually asked him to check that before we started.
Sure.
So
Yeah, that's how I
Anyway.
always check.
thanks everyone for joining us, both on the panel. Thanks, Ron.
Yep,
Thanks, Sleepy. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Brian Schubring, who was in earlier, and
Mark.
Bosley, who was actually technical help for us before the show got started.
And
Thanks for
Jerry.
everybody in the chat for our inaugural beta episode. It was pretty rough the first half an hour, as anybody who's here that early obviously knows. But it seems to have fixed itself up quite a bit. And we're definitely looking forward to doing more of these. It'll be a rotating panel of guests. It may not be any of us, on an episode.
It may not.
So it'll be covering all kinds of stuff.
And just so you know, before the show, I was trying to get the audio issues fixed, but they were too busy screwing around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I kept saying, hey, can you hear me? And they'd be like, no, we can't.
Well, at the beginning, we couldn't. We couldn't hear you at all. You were just like lip reading or something. So anyway, thanks for everybody coming out. We'll announce. I imagine that I think all of us have got some topics we want to cover. So I think we'll probably do these fairly often at the beginning, and then it'll depend on what kind of stuff comes up.
Yes.
We could even use this for like I'm planning to try to ask like Nick and a few others to come in and give you machine language routines that can do really good like background sound or something, like some specific part of game writing. I'm not going to have Nick live blog his writing of a game or something like that, but I don't think he'd do it anyway.
Rick Hewland would be good on here.
Yep. Yeah, Rick would be good. Bob Emery's already volunteered to come on about his little switching the channel selector switch for his SCART composite RGB switch. Jason Reichert could be on there for some of the hardware stuff. Bill Noble could come on for both hardware and software stuff. Get some of the good basic programmers like Richard Kelly could come on here. Jim Gary. There's lots of people to draw from here. We got a lot of good experts. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I mean, none of us is perfect and knows absolutely everything about our particular subject line. There's stuff in Nitrous 9 I don't remember. In fact, I came across one here on the editing keys that I'd forgotten about when we did our seminar, Ken, so I'm going to be adding one thing. But
yeah, I don't think Jim Gary's going to come on the show. He was in the audience, and he's probably going to be like, no, I'm good.
He's been on before. He might.
Yeah, well, that was
especially if it's pushing the MC10. That does need some more public exposure.
Yeah, well, that was the CoCo Nation. That's a good that has good production values and quality cast and such. So
same cast.
We have streaming.
Yeah.
And actually, we did get a lot of the audio stuff fixed up. I mean, I think everybody agrees that was here at the beginning. It's by the after the first half hour there, I think things got a lot better.
Yeah.
So I know you actually fixed up some audio stuff that you've had problems with for quite a while here. Like I imagine your show on Thursday, which you should plug now, probably will sound a lot better.
There's a show on Thursday?
Let's find out.
It's called Ken with Cats.
All right. How's the audio sound now? Does it sound okay?
It sounds good on Zoom, but that never is a telltale sign of what it actually sounds to everybody else.
Yeah.
Actually, they're usually drastically different.
Well, all you have to do is...
I'm getting echo again, I think, a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you going to save this edition?
All right.
Well, it's already on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch will be temporarily on until Twitch fills up, but YouTube will be permanent.
Yeah.
Warts and all at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work with it a little bit, especially after I move move my desk around. This desk is going against that wall, so it'll be here, and the computer will actually be closer to the workbench, so I'll be able to actually get a camera over there that's not as having the cord stretched out, because it has to go behind this machine, behind this desk, and up and across. and you can actually see. Well, actually, you can't see
Oh, did you guys plug your show on Thursday yet, or did
there.
we kind of get distracted?
No,
Not yet.
I'm still waiting to find out
Yeah.
about this Thursday show that I've heard so much about, but I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
Yeah, you see, this is the cord that's going over there to the other camera.
Sloopy's just too busy talking about chords.
Yeah.
Because this is a tech show.
He's a musician at
I'm
heart.
talking about tech stuff. No, I don't do music. I'm terrible at music.
Yeah, if I'd bothered rehearsing a bit and actually brought my amp up or something, I would have played a little intro.
But now that you mention it, on Thursday at 8 p.m., the same time we started here, we have the show called the CoCo Nation Game On Challenge Live. And we would be ecstatic if you'd come join us.
Can I play this? Can I play this on it?
Yes, you can.
All right.
And you can also
And just out of
play-
curiosity, for those who've never seen the show before but do get enticed to join in and join in the fun, what are the two games that you guys will be covering?
This week, the centipede one, or the
King
millipede, King Pete, and rear gunner or whatever.
Rear guard.
Rear guard.
Rear guard.
That's what it's called.
I actually, Nick showed me some footage of him playing the Tier City Model 1 and 3 version. And apparently the CoCo and the Tier City Model 1 and 3 are the only ones that had scrolling terrain.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to trying out the Atari or the Apple one yet, but I played both the Model 1 and the TRS-80 one. So.
Yeah. Actually, that's right, because we're actually going to do a comparison, a head-to-head, death cage match between all the different 8-bit CPUs that had that game. Sleepy, you're an Atari guy. Are you going to try to play the Atari version, you think?
Absolutely. Because Atari rules.
What?
They rule.
The Underworld or something. I don't know what it is. And Ken, you're going to cover the C64 version and the Apple version? Or
I could
or did
not
you find
find
a
it.
C64?
I could not find the C64 version anywhere.
Okay.
I've even reached out to some of my real big C64 people, and they don't know the game.
Oh, I wonder if they maybe announced it and never got released, or maybe they canceled it early on.
Maybe.
So look forward to Tier City Model 1, Atari 400, 800, Apple II, CoCo, and Tier City Model 1 3 versions as a head-to-head comparison, which I really like that idea. It's almost tempting to go back to some other episodes we've done that have multiple versions and do it. Maybe someday.
Yep.
Let's see here. It's sheep dip.
Yeah, Brian, I've got my my light off actually because I think some of the weird stuff I was having with VCC earlier is because I had my halogen lamp too close to my computer and it was kind of overheating it. Because it's also 86 degrees here today for some stupid reason.
Lucky. We're in the middle of a torrential rain here.
You're in Vancouver, isn't that half the year?
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard, but the island today was supposed to get 200 millimeters of rain today.
That's a fair bit.
That's a little bit more than normal for all of you Americans. That's
2.5 centimeters, which is 200 or 25.4 millimeters, is an inch. So we're talking what, 10 inches almost?
Yeah,
8 inches, I guess.
Holy cow!
That's a lot.
8 inches. I would have water in here.
Yep,
That's what's probably happening to Vancouver or in Victoria.
That's more rain than we usually get in a couple of months here.
Do you guys have basements?
Yep.
I don't.
I do.
I do.
Out here in Vancouver, not a lot of places have.
Yeah, you're in the
basements.
Rocky Mountains, so it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to dig a basement in stone.
Yeah.
How about you,
Weird
Ron? Do you have a
here.
basement in Arizona? Because you guys
No.
are in the desert.
No, but there are some houses that have them here. We have a lot of hard rock underneath. I don't know how they dug out a pool, but they did.
However, my house could have a basement because we're built on a swamp, but it would probably be full of water.
No, there's
'Cause-
ways to fix it.
I'm also about 10 feet away from a river, so and they did just down the street from me build an apartment building that has underground parking, except nobody can use it because it's always underwater.
Can't they just make it a boat launch instead?
That's basically what it is.
or do scuba diving lessons or something?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you build a underground parking lot like 10 feet away from a river.
Yeah, here it's like nothing that direction has any kind of basement, nothing that direction has any kind of basement. That direction on the right side of the road, you have to go at least 4 or 5 miles before there's anything with a basement on the right, and on the left they can have basements because it's a hill. Because in that direction, the
Floodplain.
northern tip of the Chesapeake Bay is about a 1/4 mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, we've got
I
an
was wondering,
Apple-
Ron. Oh, go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say we've got an Apple person in the audience. Dave's
Dave's vintage Apple Tech.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Now, are we talking like old school Apple 2, 2 Plus, 2E, 2C, 3, or are we talking like Macs and everything else too?
Most importantly, have you played Rear
Yes.
Guard on the Apple II?
Yeah, he could join in for that.
Yeah, Dave. I'm on Dave's streams on Sunday, 11 o'clock Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Mostly a bunch of people doing various things with various Apple and other vintage technologies.
Yeah. I also plug a couple other shows that were actually going on the same time as us. So thanks for the people that joined us instead. Chronologically Gaming would have done their episode. They're still in July 1982. I don't think they would hit any CoCo games, although they did cover Rainbow Magazine yesterday, which is kind of cool.
5 minutes left in his show.
Yeah, well, probably won't get off by the time that's done. And then I think Trina's Technobabble was doing part of her huge haul she got at the Kitchener show, which is the name of it's blanking me. She was on part 2 going through this table full of stuff.
Yeah, work.
She
bought the whole lot.
Yeah. And I shouldn't say a table. It's like a whole horseshoe-shaped row of tables full of stuff, plus totes, and she bought it all.
It was one person's stuff.
Yeah.
They were just...
They didn't want to take anything
everything,
back.
And she bought it all.
Cables and computers and all kinds of stuff. You guys are finding cool stuff. I saw the first part 1 stream. I'm kind of curious if she's even to get through it all after the second. She might need a third.
Yeah, I told her thank you for streaming at the same time I do, so I can't watch it.
Yeah, I told Jeff that too at Chronologically Gaming. So
yeah, because there was a couple streams. I think.
Oh, there's another Justin Morgan for the 3rd time is going to try to get his 609 and his yellow bar problem on his CoCo 2 fixed.
Yeah, he's actually streaming now because he usually streams on Tuesdays.
Yeah, he's doing PC stuff today. I think he's doing the other one on Thursday or
Mac and
Wednesday.
He's actually doing his Atari right now. He was he's just doing some projects that he's done in the past, and there just wasn't enough.
But his CoCo follow-up actually got it scheduled to trigger, but it's this week, and I think it's either tomorrow or it's Thursday. I think.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look it up here just so I can let people know if they want to watch it. Thursday? Okay.
Yeah, because he usually streams on Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Oh, Chronologically Gaming. I just saw the screenshot of the live stream there, and he's doing Sands of Egypt, but the Apple II version.
Yeah, he usually streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So on Thursday, come join us for the Game On Challenge. And then after the Game On Challenge, then go and watch Justin D. Morgan.
Yeah.
For those who are not familiar, Justin D. Morgan is a YouTuber. He streams under Justin D. Morgan. He does a mix of mostly old PCs and old Macintoshes, but he also does. He just recently got a CoCo, and he also has an Atari 400.
Oh, there. Yeah, that's the game Chronologically Game was playing on his stream right now, except playing the Apple II version, because that's a Datasoft game that was on multiple platforms. But Ken's got the proper CoCo Steve Bjork co-written version.
$25 it says on there.
Yeah, that would be at clearance $25.
I think it's 29 before that, if I remember, in Canada.
$29.95, $25.05 on clearance.
They went a lot cheaper at the very end. I remember at Rainbow Fest, a friend of mine picked up a copy, and I think it was $4.95.
You gotta love when
Slippy.
they still have the old price tags on them.
Seems this works pretty good.
Cool.
It was
You got a request, Snoopy, from the chat here. Coco Living from YouTube is saying, sometime in the future, can you demo using DriveWire for printing from the Coco to a printer?
Sure you can.
Yeah, sure you can. You just figured out how to do it.
You need space.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, talk to Michael Furman because he's the one who's doing the new Pi DriveWire, which he's super familiar with all the protocols. He can explain it for you if you need some help.
Actually, can't you print right through your PC into your printer on your network?
Yeah.
I think I've done that myself.
Yeah, you're just sharing the printer from the
Network.
PC to the CoCo.
Yeah, because then you can do like an L list, line printer list on the CoCo, and it redirects to the printer, and it goes through the DriveWire server, which then prints it onto your laser printer, whatever you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a dialog box in DriveWire.
The DriveWire itself, yeah. That's what I remember.
Yeah, you just select which printer you want to send it to, and then you just, as a simple line printer, you just send it out. To actually do graphics and such, it probably requires a little bit more than that, but it shouldn't be too difficult.
So somebody on Facebook just commented that they replaced the 555 timer to get rid of on their CoCo 2 to get rid of the yellow line, and yeah, that's it about 95% of the time. And the other 5% of the time, it's a capacitor problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Justin D. Morgan, who tried to fix that by replacing the 555 chip on his last CoCo stream last week, apparently he's one of the 5% because it wasn't the 555.
Yeah.
So now he's just got to replace all the capacitors.
Yeah, and then he was going to put in a 609. He ordered the wrong chips. He ordered 6809s.
Yeah.
So could do that either.
He has a 6309. And
I'm guessing from you, Sloopy, perchance?
Yeah. I know it's a real one and it works.
A lot of people that get new color computers, from online or something, and then they show, and then they always say, yeah, I've got to buy a kit to change all my capacitors out. So what do you guys have to say about that?
That's pretty rare that you need to do that.
The color computer actually used really good quality parts, and even talking to Frank, who sells the kits, he said, yeah, it's not that necessary.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. They're well done capacitors. They're not like the late 80s
Amigas
Apples
and
stuff and Amigas and stuff that all had real crap capacitors in them.
Yeah, it's more of the surface mount capacitors that had issues, not the through hole. I mean, there are some through holes that have issues, but for the most part, it's the surface mount ones that need to be replaced years ago.
What happens? Does the heat from the motherboard suck the
No, they just
liquid
leak.
out?
You can leave it in a bin in the barn for years, and it'll die and leak all over.
But generally on the boards, ones that are going to start going bad quicker are the ones that have the most power going through them.
Oh.
Brian, we are doing CoCoTECH. Haven't you heard about CoCoTECH? I mean, we've only been talking about it since November.
And a couple hours, like 3/4 of an hour ago, I think we set up the reminder, didn't we?
Yeah.
3 hours, 3/4 of an hour before we started the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing these for what, months now, guys?
Yeah,
hours.
I mean, this is like episode 63, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I could probably demonstrate.
Brian?
I could probably demonstrate next week. I'll open my CoCo up and show you not how to change all the capacitors out.
Yeah, there's no...
Actually, you can open up one of your CoCos and do the cap job on it. Just open it up, point at the caps, and say they're good. Put your lid back on.
Yeah,
done.
My F-board 1983 CoCo 1. I've never replaced the cap on it. It's working fine.
How you can usually tell that a cap is bad is because it has a dome on it. Is that correct?
Yes.
They'll start bulging.
The top will start to bulge.
Either that or they've leaked all over the board.
Yeah, you can also see where there will be like a wetness or a shininess around the cap.
But on
not to be confused with the glue though, because some people look at that and they see that brown glue and they think, oh, it's leaked, and that's nothing to do with the cap at all.
The brown glue, you got to look for a shiny film on the board.
Yeah, Amigas and Macintoshes are very highly susceptible to this in the late 80s into the mid 90s, and also PCs. And then when you get around 98, 97, 98 until 2002, was another bad period, but that was a bad period for all caps.
That's why
I use retro.
I never use my caps lock. That's
Brian. Yes, this is actually the.
This is our
contrary to what
first
those fools
episode.
are saying this is actually the very first episode.
It's a beta. Actually, we were
yeah,
ironing out things as we went. So
yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys
beta.
before we end the stream here. Do you think the mixing between the two works, or should we just keep them separate?
Mixing between. the two?
no, like I think it worked good that while Sloopy was doing some of the stuff that
Right.
frankly
I mean,
wouldn't be
we
all
should
that
get the
exciting
split
to
screen
watch.
working, so it's a bit more obvious that I can see
Yeah.
that Sloopy's ready to talk again, rather than guessing.
Yeah, that certainly get the split screen working, but I think having a couple things going on like that so you can cover off like when Sloopy's just monotonously soldering a bunch of things.
It's never monotonous. It's always fun. It's soldering.
Do you think we can get D. Bruce Moore to make an intro for us?
We could. I might
L.
even
Curtis
whip up
Boyle.
I might whip up
Curtis
a
Boyle to do it.
tune in garage band with my guitar or something too. So
Yeah.
I tend to do more rocky stuff than he does. He does like the
We've got the
current CoCo
talent.
Nation one is.
Right there. If you're watching the stream, if you're on the Zoom call, it's over there. The
On the
talent's
Zoom
over there.
on the top right on my end, but
Oh.
there's something Mark does to force it so it always matches between Zoom and the thing.
Okay.
I have no idea what he does.
Well, on the stream, you're there, so that's where the talent is. No, Ron, I'm not pointing at you.
No.
At least on my screen, I'm.
So where do I
pointing
point
at
to you, Ken? Like from my perspective on the stream, where are you?
I don't know what y'all
I'm
talking
diagonal
about.
to you. You're right down there from me.
So you're up here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the
what y'all
person with the
talking about.
best dressed shirt. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all are talking about because what I see on Zoom is what I see on the stream. There's Ken. There's Curtis. And down
Yeah,
there
it's
is
different for
Ron.
everybody. I just saw Coco Living's comment. Men's cologne should have the scent of solder.
Yep.
As long as it's not the scent of a blown reefer cap.
Or burnt hair with solder.
Brian, what we did was we talked about various tips and tricks on using color in the
Coco 1, 2, and 3.
CoCo 1, 2, and 3. We discussed anti-static protocols while working on your CoCo 3. We also did a composite mod on a CoCo 1.
Using non-marked data version that seems to be the more common one these days. You did one from, you'll have to say who it is again because I can't remember.
And I might say it actually worked.
Yes, and you
when
actually
we were
saw
done.
it work.
And where is it from?
Here, I'll put it.
JCM-1.com.
Okay. Just want to make sure we plug them since you actually did their thing.
Originally designed by Rudy's Retro Intel, I think, or
Yes.
And for those that joined late, please leave us suggestions of topics to cover. Anything tech-related, software, hardware, doesn't matter, operating systems, soldering tips, whatever.
in our brand new Discord channel.
Yep. Or on the CoCo Nation Facebook page if you want to do it that way. Do we have an official email for the CoCo Nation? I think we do, but I never use it, so I can't remember what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, we do.
So yes, we do.
Yeah, we have an official email, and if you want to send us an email, you have to find it.
I think it's on the CoCo Nation webpage, is it
Yeah,
not?
go to the CoCo Nation webpage. It's on there.
And that's
What's
CoConation.com? I don't even know that either.
What's the CoCo Nation webpage?
Good question. I've never gone there.
Yeah, we're on the show all the time. We don't look.
It is.
See how prepared we are in this beta episode?
Yeah. It is the CoCoNation.com.
Yes, it is.
And does it have the email?
I'm looking.
Yes.
Contact us. There we are. Oh, no, that's a direct
You can contact
submit
us
on the
there.
website thing. It doesn't have an actual
Yeah,
email.
because no one puts email addresses on websites.
Well, the next time we do this show, Curtis, you'll have a full beard.
No, I shave it off before the show every week because by that time it itches and I can't stand it.
Nah, that'll go away.
It doesn't for me. I've tried. There was a time when I actually went, I think, a month, and it was just driving me more and more nuts every day until the point I was drawing blood, literally scratching. And then I said, I'm not doing this, and I shaved it off.
Yes. Yeah, Dave,
Nope.
I'm not sure why Joe didn't stop by. I mean, I sent him a link and everything.
He's probably just jealous of your hardware skills.
Joe?
So
No, he's better than me.
looking on the CoCoNation.com, I can't see the website, or I can't see the email address. So yeah, if you want to send us an email, good luck finding the email address.
You can do it through the
by the
CoCo
way,
Nation site, but you have to click contact us and fill it out on a web
All right.
form.
Since these fools don't know the show they're on, if you go down into the description here on this video, you can see where it says email show@thecoconation.com.
Sure. I don't see that.
Oh, wow. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, us hosts will be learning stuff as we go too, because we're not total experts on everything, including what show we're on.
That's
So-
why I'm the smart one.
Oh, okay. That's only on
SMRT.
YouTube though. That isn't on
SMRT.
Twitter. I never
SMRT.
use. Hey,
Yeah,
I
it's
never
not on
use-
Twitch. I looked there too.
Yeah, it's not on Twitch. So,
You
and I
have to
use
hit-
Twitch.
You have to
I
hit
don't use
more.
YouTube. What kind of person would be on YouTube? I mean, really?
Just the majority of our audience.
Yeah,
I mean, even worse yet, who would put up videos on YouTube?
that Canadian guy. I ain't going to name names, but
Canadian YouTube things or something he's called, isn't he?
Canadian retro dude?
Yeah,
Or the
dude.
man from Hawaii with periods between every letter in Hawaii. One of the two.
Guys, I was born in Alaska, which makes me what? Hyper Canadian? No? I'm still American, I guess.
Honorarily cold. I don't know.
I guess.
I can see why you moved to
You're
Arizona.
the
though,
only
then.
you're one of the very few Americans that know our pain.
Yes.
Yeah, you actually understand when we say what -40 is, what it actually feels like.
But I must say, it would seem to be colder in Rochester, New York than up there.
Yeah, in Coco Living, the Pi DriveWire software is written in Python and will work on both Windows and in Linux and OS 10.
OS 10, yeah.
Have that kind of.
Yeah, Michael Furban, the guy who's in charge of PyDriver, actually has a GitHub you can grab all that stuff from. So, and he's updating it as well. I don't think it's fully caught up with DriveWire 4 yet. There's still a couple features I don't think he has implemented yet because the documentation was a bit slack on the original, but he's working on getting it fully up to match DriveWire 4. But pretty well, most stuff most people use is in there already.
What kind of question do you have, Brian? Ask it here.
He just wants to know why Curtis is doing hardware stuff.
Oh,
I'm not. I'm here for the software side of things.
He's
and horror stories about hardware. I can help with that.
Yeah, we're going to, at the next CoCo Fest, either Curtis will learn how to solder or Curtis will be bald.
Curtis is going at the.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to convert Sloopy to be a Nitrous 9 user. He's not going to touch Ataris. He's not going to touch Linux. He's not going to touch Basic. He's going to be a total Nitrous 9er. That's
rather than doing a Nitrous 9 presentation at the next CoCo Fest, Curtis is going to build an entire CoCo in 1 hour from scratch.
I will.
A blank board. Just he's going to use a perf board.
It won't work, but it'll be a nice little prop. It'll be made of cardboard.
You have to get Brian to give him that kit he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, Curtis, I have a 68,000 system. I will bring it. If you put OS 9 on it, then I will use it.
Was it an Atari ST?
No.
Amiga?
No.
MM1?
A gimmicks?
TC70?
No.
Mac?
No.
VME bus?
No.
He's just trying to brag here. It's
Sun?
No.
Can you say yes?
Yes.
Just tell them, Sloopy.
Is it actually a 68,000 or 60,010, 2030, 68340? What is it?
It's an actual 68,000.
68,000,
Yeah.
and he got it for free at VCF.
So he stole it. Gotcha.
No.
Somebody gave it to him.
This old man came up to me and said, "Do you know anyone who'd want this?" I looked at it and I said, "Yes, I know a lot of
Gimmicks?
people would want this."
SWTPC?
Gave it to me.
What is it?
Just
Say it.
tell them, Sloopy.
You
know
go
you
ahead.
want to.
You tell him.
I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, me either.
Is it
It's
like
actually a 68,000
dev board thing?
trainer board
Trainer board.
from Motorola.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like their old what was the 6809 ones called? That exercise? No, exerciser. I think it's called. That was the Motorola 6800, 6809 testing
Yeah.
thing.
It's same as that. I mean, it's literally got like, I think it's got like 2 or 4K of RAM. It
Wow,
runs
that's
off
wasting a 68,000 I've ever heard.
Yeah, it runs off a serial port. It's got this.
Yeah,
3-pin
the Xity did
connector.
too. You had terminals that you did to talk to it.
Is it just a board or does it have a case?
It's just a board and a manual. On the next episode of CoCoTECH that I'm on, I will show it.
Working?
Yeah. Well, you've got to do your audio thing. You've got demonstrating the printing through DriveWire to do. I've got some Nitrous 9 stuff to do. Ken, do you have anything that you have planned for a future show that you want to stream onto?
No, I just glob onto your guys' projects and commentate.
He's the
Okay,
face.
and then Ron, do you have any suggestions for stuff we should talk about that you would like to learn about?
Well, it would be cool to see if you can hook up a LED to a computer, and then also sometimes a lot of these guys have lights on their computer. When they turn it on, it looks real pretty out the vents, you know. And one time I found looks like a pen, and you could twist it and then shove it into the to the side cartridge port, and it would light up beautifully. You know, blue, red, green, whatever you wanted, and they could alternate. But you know, the battery only lasts so long. And I
Because
wouldn't
one
know
thing I
how
was
to-
thinking, Ron, you might be able to work with Ken on. You both have DS69s,
Yeah.
video digitizers, but
Yep.
you're super familiar with using it because you've had it for
Yeah,
years and you've
I
done all
have.
kinds of stuff. And Ken's just got it for the first time ever, and he's actually going to be, figure out how to run it if he can get a multi-pack.
I do have a little video of using one.
But I think
somewhere
if you two went on the
Garage.
same show and you could show the software
Yeah.
side of it off, and then Ken
Yeah.
can demonstrate the hardware and what he's learned about it.
Yeah, it's CC3. Do you have that?
He's got the DS69A, so I think that's the CoCo 121.
Yeah.
Or CC3 works with the one also, I think.
Yeah, because there's the DS69A and the 69B. The original
Right.
DS69 was pre-CoCo.
What
Microworks had it out for 6800 and 6809
yeah.
systems like the SWTPC.
what all's in it?
Ken, do you know? Have you ripped that one open
I
yet?
haven't opened it up yet. I'm still, as I said, I'm waiting to get my hands on a Y cable or a multi-pack because
What does it do?
it's
It
a picture
digitizes
digitizer.
video in. It has a video in on the top, and it has there's also a hole on the front cover where you can adjust widths, I think. On
Yeah, it's a video digitizer, so you can scan in from a camera or a VCR
Right.
tape if you have a good pause on it.
yeah,
and you can scan the
used,
image in.
a DSLR 40D, and that had live view on it, no sound, which didn't need sound anyway, and that would work, but you would get some lettering because the view also gives you, I don't know, some information with it. But you know, you can cut that out, whatever.
Ken, are you
But
going
it-
to open yours up?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Make sure you send me a high resolution image, because if it's all common parts in it, then
There
maybe
is.
we could
Build one?
remake one.
Make it again.
Yeah.
Actually, Ron, if you can do that with the D69B, I don't know if that was just a software upgrade because the 69B was the one designed for the CoCo 3, right?
Yeah, but it's the hardware. There's hardware that's different somehow.
Okay, so if you can do the same thing, maybe open up and take a high resolution picture to send to Sleepy
Yeah,
so
I
we can
think
see
there's a screw on either side of the. It has a plastic cover on it.
Yeah.
Here, just a second. I'll go grab mine.
Yeah.
All right.
Ken's
while
got a
he's
fair
doing-
bit of hardware he's got to play with here, so.
Yeah, while Ken's doing that, Dave says to let everyone know that they're more than welcome to join him on Sundays on his stream. He does all kinds of different things. You'll see me there. I will usually be doing various things on there. You can do whatever you like, as long as it's vintage related, or even not vintage related. Some people just come for the witty banter. And just like this show,
I'm still
they're
waiting for that. When
disappointed.
does that happen?
Yeah. And just like this show, they're disappointed.
Exactly.
So on this show I'll be Ron Deluxe. On the other show I'll be Ron Delvaux. You're back with us.
Unfortunately, Sloopy, I'm not going to be able to open mine because it says right on it that if I open it, it'll void my warranty.
Oh, okay. That's all right, fine.
And you're right about the width thing there. That's you can see the little.
Yeah, there's a
hole in the
hole.
top.
There
There's
isn't
a
actually on mine.
potentiometer in there.
There's not on mine.
Hold
There's
it
a
up
spot
again.
there's a spot for a hole right there, but it's
So there's no hole there. See, it says width.
it says width, but
But
mine.
that's for B.
Maybe it's
I'll bet
underneath
you.
the sticker. Or
Yeah,
No,
that's-
there's a
that's-
hole in the sticker. Like this,
Okay.
the sticker is made so that there should be something there, but it's a solid case.
Is there a screw in the sticker?
Nope.
It's the screws on the backside, or it just snaps
There was-
together?
Mine has screws on either end, I think. And when mine stopped working, I tore the top off. It was glued. Is that what yours is like?
Yeah, this is just glued.
Yeah.
There's
Ooh,
no
that's
screws.
not going to be fun to pull apart.
No.
Did you heat
And
it up
you know
to
what?
loosen the glue, or
I hate
or did you melt
using
the plastic?
mine because my other one, my A, broke at one time, and I sent it back and had it fixed, and they sent it back and they didn't charge me anything, but I got the newer version. But every time I use it, it makes me real nervous, and I hate, to have something happen to it and it not work anymore. But
See, that's one of the reasons to try to get a good high-res photo so we can actually figure out how to remake it, what parts you need to fix it.
yeah,
Or
well,
replace
the
it.
high-res photos to see that if it's even doable. It's so that I can see what chips are on there and see if they're common or sourceable. And then after that, unfortunately, what would have to happen next, no one wants to hear.
You'd have to rip it apart.
Have to take all the components off so that you can see the board, so that you can make a schematic of it.
Oh. See you
Why don't
later.
they see-
I could talk Ken into that, but I wouldn't be able to talk Ron into that.
I don't think so.
I don't know if you could talk Ken. Well, yeah, you could probably talk
Oh
Ken.
yeah, you can talk me into anything.
Yeah.
He's not as much of a collector as like Ron wants
Oh
to
no,
keep his stuff.
I'm a collector. I just yeah.
Yeah, he's more
I
like
mean-
he's more like a.
But I only have one, If I had
I'm-
two, I would sacrifice one for
I
the
also really like to see how things work.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everything I've pulled apart to redo has gone back together and still works, except for my MCX32. And the only reason why that hasn't gone back together and worked is because I'm waiting for the other parts of it to be done, so that I can, so I can be told, okay, we're not going to need any more from you. Because I made a schematic for it, but because it uses a CPLD or CPLD, I'm not very up on CPLD programming, so someone else has to take care of that. And unfortunately, as things got moved around, the parts for it got moved around, and I wasn't vigilant about keeping them in one bag. So one day I may need to get a high resolution pic from someone who already has one, or buy another one and eventually find all the parts for it. I know where most of the parts are, just not all the parts.
Speaking of boards, I have a Disto 4-in-1,
Yep.
And I've seen other people's Disto 4-in-1, and they have a silk screen on the front of the cart, which is aluminum. And I also have a Disto 2, which is plastic, just like this cart, only it's white plastic. And I remanufactured, whatever, redid the artwork for that. So if anybody has a 2 and needs the artwork for it, I've got it on my computer and I could send it to them. They can print it out and cut the paper out and put it on just like new.
Nice.
I don't have the screen print though for like the 4-in-1. I think maybe the early ones were screen printed, or I don't know, mine's just completely white case aluminum.
Yeah, I never had the 4-in-1. I had a 3-in-1 when I still had a Disto system.
Yeah. Kevin, when the time comes and and I've got the free time available to do it, I'll contact Brian and ask him if he has one, which he probably does.
He may have multiple.
Yeah.
So should we wrap it up, guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
And check for announcements. We actually learned how to do scheduling today, so we can actually warn people ahead of time when we're doing a stream. So when we decide on the next one, we'll be able to give you a few days warning on YouTube. We'll also be posting about it on the CoCo Nation channel and the CoCo channel and Nitrous 9 channel, and if appropriate, also in the Discord. So there'd be lots of ways to find out when the next episode's going to be.
I hope this inspires Mr. Overholzer to join in.
Oh, he will.
Well, he explained that
he did watch part of the show tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
did he?
but he's been quite busy in his personal life, which is why he's not done anything with it for a while. So
yeah, and this show also shows that the main reason why the CoCo Nation lasts so long is because of one person. I'm going to name names, but see, that person was here, and the show is 3.5 hours.
Yeah, Ken, I don't know why you keep doing that.
That would be down for me. No.
No, beside you.
Yeah, well, mine's different.
Anyway,
well, no, but on the stream.
Keep yourselves posted. Check the CoCo Nation page on Facebook. Check the CoCoTECH page on the CoCo Discord. And if you haven't already, subscribed to the YouTube channel, and then you should get automatic notifications when we set the schedule up for when the next one is. This is not on a fixed schedule. It could be a different time, a different day, different hosts.
And
please, we'll go ahead.
Please like and subscribe.
Yep. And keep an eye out for our next episode, whenever it is and whatever it's about.